put the children to bed. It's time for Dan and Aldo to bare their souls.
I love the Chicago Bears more than I do masturbating, and that is a lot.
That's fake news, Dan, and you know it, I know it, everyone knows it, including you.
Dan, with 3 seconds left, Bob Avellini throws a 30-something yard touchdown pass to Greg Latta, and the Bears win, and I literally shit my pants. I swear to God, I literally did.
Jesus Christ, Aldo. Eric Kramer, for me, I love the guy. He's a tragic figure. I mean, he embodies all that is. I'm not getting any pussy tonight. That's why I'm here.
If they don't run the ball here, I'm going to vomit. I swear to God.
Ay, Dios mío.
Look, I don't mean any disrespect. He just didn't play that well. Not for a guy of his caliber.
He's a fucking idiot.
You know, they won, but I'm going to be miserable all week because they stunk.
Shut the fuck up.
Nope. I don't really have any recollection of that at all, but I guess perhaps I blacked it all out.
So, Dan, tape is the ultimate tool for scouts and for coaches to evaluate players, to detect plays and so forth. And they spend hours looking at tape, right? Why do they so often get shit wrong?
I love the efficiency of bourbon.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan and Aldo.
Dan Aguirre, I love you. How are you, my friend?
It is great to talk with you. As I told you, I did 24 hours yesterday, so I've been really mentally fatigued and physically fatigued. But I got the show here, and my uncle, whom I don't hear from a lot, he's a really, really devout, hardcore Catholic, sent me some really uplifting text out of the blue in the last 20 minutes. So it really raised my spirits a lot, and being here does as well.
I'm so glad to hear that. By the way, 24 hours, is this most of this with 911?
I did morning at 911, 8 to 4. I did radio in the evening and then midnight at 911. So when I was done, I was done. Just mentally fatigued, you know?
You know, you can't say no to all this overtime, right?
Well, again, it's to help pay for next week, you know, the Cincinnati stuff. Next week, man, we're getting married next week. DJ Moore re-signed for the Bears, as pointed out there. That's great. 4 more years, you know?
Nice. That's right. Dan Aguirre is getting married next week. I will be at the festivities. Let me put up a little picture of Dan and his bride-to-be. There she is.
You just like that picture because she's playing with my man now.
I truly do. And you got that like 40-year-old virgin look, you know. I love that picture.
That is fun.
And I like this one too. If both of you were in the Smashing Pumpkins jersey, it's very, very nice. Are you getting nervous at this point?
No. I mean, it's just a long time coming. I mean, it's not like I'm conflicted or, you know, like, oh, I don't know if I should do this. I don't feel that at all, you know?
Yeah, that's great, man. It is. Just quickly tell people, I mean, take as much time as you want, but you met her when you were in high school.
Yeah, we met in 1997 and we dated until right before I graduated. She was the bitch. We broke up. And, you know, we talked sporadically over the next couple of years between, say, 99 and 05. And then I didn't see her from 05 until 24. And then in February, we reconnected. And here we are in August. We're going to get married. But again, it's somebody that it's not like we just, you know, barely dated because you say, oh, you were young. But her mom let me live with them, essentially. So we were like sleeping in the same bed. I was washing her clothes and we were doing lots and lots of fucking. So, I mean, we had an adult relationship at a very young age.
Yeah.
Which is good or bad. I think it was good. I still say that was good. But yeah. So I felt like I still really knew her more so than a lot of younger people when they date. So I'm saying we weren't just watching movies and shit. We were, you know, Like I told you, we were making our own movies, I guess.
There you go.
Yeah, so we reconnected, and here we are. So there you go.
I've got a question for everybody in the chat. Is there ever been in your life a high school girlfriend that you guys broke up during high school or shortly after high school and so forth, that now, years later, you think back, boy, I would love to meet her again, and I wonder what it would have been like if I would have married her, or I'm single now, I would love to see her again, because that, I think Dan is actually experiencing what a lot of people have. I had a situation. This was probably 2-3 years ago. So I was married. I am still married to Donna.
Is this going to get you in trouble?
Hopefully she's not going to hear this. But I had a situation where a high school girlfriend reached out to me and said, "You were always the one. I want to see you. Can you drive down here to where I'm at?" She's in another state. And I was like really flattered, but at the same time, I don't ruin my marriage to do that. So absolutely not. And then she sends me a picture of her titties.
That almost made you go.
Yeah, I replied, "Where exactly do you live?" And then she told me, "They're not as perky now. That picture was taken 10 years ago." And I said, "Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to risk my marriage." So you are really experiencing and living the life of so many men, and I presume women too, because women, a lot of times I've experienced this. They reach out to you years later and say, "Man, you were the one," and some of them actually think back and think that I had a bigger penis than I really do.
That's actually the one thing I was really nervous about. Was, oh my God, we hadn't fucked since 1999. And I'm not trying to be dirty, but before that, again, I was like, God, like it's 25 years later. I mean, I feel like I was really good back then. Like I was a monster back then, like 5-6 times a day easily. Now I'm more like 2 or 3 and I'm like tapped out, but it's gone well.
I remember one of the first times you had sex with her, you texted me and says, "Man, I wasn't at my best. I hope to." That was her, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I forgot this guy's name. He works over at BCP. He's a great guy. We got into a political argument. He hates to be called a liberal, and he's not a conservative. But anyways, he posted something saying that he really admired the way that you're working 2 jobs and stuff, and he's thinking about it too. And now he says, "I wash my girlfriend's clothes too, but hardly get any tail. You need a new girlfriend." That's what I say to you.
The irony is she washes my clothes now.
Is that right?
Yeah, back in the day I did all that shit, but I didn't work 2 jobs, But yeah, she washes the clothes now.
Oh wow, that is great. Now that what other household chores has she taken off your plate?
She's been doing the vacuuming, which is cool. And she has 2 children and she makes them wash the dishes. So I hate washing dishes. So that is really cool.
Yeah.
I still take care of the cats and, stuff like that.
Right. Does she like cats?
Oh, yeah. So that works out. And they like her too. And that's not, my cats are pretty much haters, just hate everybody, except me. But no, they like her. So that's been a good
great.
fit. Yeah,
because, you might come home one day and she might have accidentally put one of the cats in the microwave. That's not going to happen, huh?
That happened to what, Gremlins?
Yes, in Gremlins.
Ironically, check this out. On Friday, I'm going to see my first concert since February, which I'm really excited for. It's Limp Bizkit. But opening for Limp Bizkit, a man that played in Gremlins, Corey Feldman.
Are you serious?
Corey Feldman's a front man of his own band, and he's opening for Limp Bizkit Friday night.
That's kind of hilarious.
I have no idea what to expect. What's the gentleman's name? Isaiah Robles?
Yeah.
He saw them in Indiana recently. And again, he was like, I didn't like Corey Feldman, but man, he looked like he was having a good time up there.
Wow. Will you get to meet him backstage? No, that's the following week. Next week. Yeah. Okay. when you go to see Marilyn Manson. So for those of you who don't know, Dan and his bride are going to visit Marilyn Manson backstage. So what is that going to be like?
I don't. It looks like the itinerary.
It looks like he's grabbing your nuts. Is what it looks like.
Well, that day it was after the show,
right?
And we were backstage until like 3 a.m. for real.
Wow.
This is before the show, and I haven't received my itinerary yet. But I've been looking at other event like the dates before mine. Like that tour kicks off on Friday.
Right.
So the first couple dates, those people have already received their info, and it's the same. So I assume mine will be the same.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be there at 3:30 East to check in. The VIP stuff starts at 4 and it ends by like before 5. So I think we're going to be in and out because he's got to perform. And I don't feel cheated by that at all. I mean,
yeah.
But it is going to be, the other one was not rushed. This one is going to be.
Not related, Squeegee. But I was going to ask you, if Marilyn Manson grabs your cock the way he did in that photograph, do you think Nikki will mind?
No. She might encourage it.
if he grabs Nikki by some part of her body, will you mind?
Everyone's grabbed Nikki. She's a whore.
Oh my God.
But she's my whore.
Well, that's the thing, you know. Marilyn Manson has no relation to.
Yeah, she can take care of herself. She'll be fine.
I love it.
Maybe I will show Manson. Hey, do you remember this time you grabbed my cock back in 2012?
Oh, absolutely! You have to. You have to. Absolutely. You're allowed to shoot video or pictures?
No, that's actually what I was thinking of. You're not. They discourage you for taking out your phone.
Mm-hmm.
He has a professional photographer, and they take their photos, and they don't want you to, catch him picking his nose or something.
Yeah.
So they discourage you for having your phones out.
Right. Are you going to show him that picture?
I don't know if I can. I don't know if you can take out your phone. It says not to.
Okay. I get you. Well, I was going to say, I'll give you $20 and tip their cameraman $20 so that he can take a picture while Marilyn Manson is looking at that. Yeah.
Or maybe I can grab Manson's dick this time.
I will give the cameraman $50 for that one. that is awesome.
I don't know. I've never really had another man's penis in my hand. Not even in football, like an accidental.
Did you forget that time we were rooming together? You were like, "Where is it?"
See, I don't think even an accidental like tackle where you like grab somebody. I don't think I've had anybody's cocks on my hand, thankfully.
That's hilarious. Matthew Fochisi says that Limp Bizkit is his porn name.
That's fun.
And Joe Grizz says Limp Bizkit has one of the great dope ass bass players ever. But you probably knew that, right, man?
Yeah, I'm a fan. Like a lot of people have hated on them over the years, but I've been a fan since '97, I guess, when I discovered them myself. Their first record was called $3 Bill, Y'all.
I love that.
Yeah, so I've been a fan since, again, I think '97. I've seen them 4 or 5 times over the years.
Mm-hmm. Outstanding. Well, I'm so happy for you and Nikki, and I'm so I feel privileged and honored that you invited me, and I'm going to get to see the festivities and then have dinner with you after the Marilyn Manson concert. I'll shoot a little video so that we can share on our next show here.
That'd be great.
And if you want me to come to the hotel room and shoot some porno of you and your new bride, I'd be happy to do that as well. I promise not to participate. I just like to watch.
Well, maybe, not on that, but just changing the subject.
Kenny is not a Marilyn Manson fan.
No, Manson is in shape again.
He's gotten in shape, huh?
Yeah, he's lost a tremendous amount of weight. But I was just going to say, we're hoping to leave West Virginia at 3:30 in the morning the day of. And I have to make one stop and pick up Jeremy along the way, my friend. So we hope to be in town 9-ish and go work on getting our marriage license. So maybe we can meet you for breakfast too.
That would be great. But make sure you get some sleep. Don't want you too tired for dinner, because that's when the real party starts after after.
Well, real quick, I know we got to start the show. I was just going to say, they told us this wedding is at 1:30. They gave me the time. They said be there early. So to me, that means 1.
Yeah.
Well, we got to get the marriage license first, and we're afraid if we get there at like 11, what if they take an early lunch? You know, so we want to make sure we get there and get that marriage license taken care of before, so we don't have to worry.
Yeah. Well, don't fret. It'll all work out. Nikki is there to calm your nerves because I know how you get sometimes. Nikki's probably saying, "Yeah, Aldo."
I was really upset when the hotel took my Justin Fields jersey and that hoodie that time. I will admit that. And I had to fight for that motherfucker, and I got it back.
Yes, you did. You did. And now it's on eBay.
No, I still have it.
And you'll keep it?
Oh, yeah. Unless my cousin finds a way to steal from me again.
Well, he won't. You know, gosh, I would love to meet this guy just so I can kick him in the balls. But at one point, we have to figure out all the artifacts you have. And what I mean by that are Bears jerseys and all the material that you have Chicago Bears related, because you probably could open up like a mini museum type of thing, you know?
He took so many jerseys, though.
Did he?
Like I would feel like I'm missing something. Yeah. So, but yeah, well, you're right.
It is what it is. When you have.
I've got Bears, like just everything you could think of. Like a shower curtain. You know, I had a Walter Payton like kids jersey from kindergarten that's hanging up that I've had, like, you know, cup, anything you could think of Bears I have, though, like small things like cups and plates. That's and whatever. Hilarious.
This is I got this cup from Heidi, who's going to
I have the same one.
Co-host on the show. Yeah, she gave me 69 because I made a joke about 69 when I was here, and I hold that dear to my heart, Heidi.
We're lucky because Heidi's cups, a lot of them got broken in transit from Mexico.
Oh,
and
her
mine didn't get broken, and neither did yours.
Her D cups you're talking about?
No, her coffee cups that she bought everybody.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So that will teach her a lesson. When you bring a gift to Chicago, it's just Dan and me. That's all you have to bring. Forget everybody else. What the hell? All right, let's start talking about some Chicago Bears. The breaking news about an hour or two before we came out live is that DJ Moore has signed a contract extension. I don't have the details in front of me. You can find that elsewhere.
Let me tell you.
Oh, yeah. If you got them handy, absolutely.
Yeah,
awesome.
Let me pull it back up right here. It is, per Adam Schefter, DJ Moore and the Bears reached agreement on a 4-year, $110 million extension that includes $82.6 million guaranteed.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at Joe Chris. I'm not even going to put that up on the screen because my wife could be watching. So it's 100 million.
110.
110.
4 years, 110, and 82 is guaranteed.
Okay, so do you know if that includes the 2 seasons he's currently under contract? So he's under contract for 2024 and 2025. That's the contract we adopted from the Carolina Panthers. Now, are we talking 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, those 4 years?
I think so, because, again, the verbiage is a contract extension. It doesn't say that they tore up the other one and just created a new one. It just says an extension. So it would add on to the remaining 2, at least in my interpretation.
Okay. And my guy, I hate the fact that your name is Thigh and Smy Podcast. What the fuck does that mean? But anyways, he's got a 90-second video with details. I'll try to find that and play that. Flex Diggs says DJ has 6 more seasons here. That's the important part. So yeah, he is under contract until 2030, which is my Thigh and Smy Podcast partner says. That is awesome. And I was telling Dan this before we went live, is that now there's that continuity that Caleb is going to have. DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. We know that Rome will be here for at least 5 years. Well, at least 4 years. You know, we'll decide yes or no, but to pick up the 5th-year contract, I'd be shocked because I think he's going to be an NFL superstar. Caleb is going to have 2 outstanding future Hall of Famers for the next at least 5 years. That's fucking awesome. And he's got Keenan Allen this year to help him break into the NFL. The only thing that worries me is this goddamn offensive line, that they don't have any superstars on the offensive line. They got guys that might be good enough. It's like the one big thing that Ryan Poles promised us when he came to Chicago was, well, I'm a former offensive line, so I know the importance of an offensive line. But he hasn't spent big on it. He hasn't, other than Darnell Wright, and who is going to be a good pick, they're still going into year 3 of Ryan Poles' reshaping of this roster. We still have questions in the offensive line. Dan, does it bother you as much as it bothers me?
Absolutely. Because Justin just got his guts beaten in, and so did Cutler before him. So, yeah, you don't want that. I mean, I wanted that to happen to Mike Glennon. No, I'm just kidding. But I wanted Mike Glennon, sack him, get Mitch in there. But, yes, I don't want Caleb's his growth stunted by injuries, by an inconsistent line play. If you don't mind, real quick, I sent you a photo of our guy Sanjin. You talked about someone like having a lot of bear stuff. It's a picture of Sanjin in his office.
Oh my goodness!
I just wanted you to see.
Yeah, let me see if I can put this up on the screen.
It epitomizes everything we stand for as Bears fans.
Yeah, Sanjin's such a good guy.
Yeah.
I got to meet him when we were at the Vikings 2022 season finale. Jesus, why won't it show? And I'll try to get it up in a second here. But Sanjay is such a great guy. He listens to this show religiously, and he's very generous too. So Sanjay, thanks very much. I'll try to get that picture up. By the way, you look very handsome. What have you been doing? You got something on the side there? Because I think he's married, right?
I don't want to speak out of school, but I think Sanjay I think his relationship may have ended.
Oh, well, that would explain it, because every time I've had relationships end, I've gotten in shape, I've gotten good looking, and then I get married, and then I turn out like this. So, good for you, Sanjay. Go get that pussy.
You did it all for the Nookie.
Get it all for the Nookie. So the offensive line is a concern. I got a soundbite here about the offensive line, because Nate Davis, again, is missing practice. And a few days ago, Flus was asked about Nate Davis's availability. And if you can read between the words here, it sounds like Flus is not too happy.
Yeah, I mean, availability is everything, right, in this league. And so you got to be available to practice. You got to be able to go through hard in terms of, doing hard better during training camp. And that's all part of preparing for the first part of the season, to be able to do that, to callous yourself. That's your individual responsibility to the football team. And when you're not out there, guess what? That doesn't happen. So availability is important at every position. And sometimes guys get injured, and that's the way it goes. And there's some things you can do, but they have to get back as fast as possible. Because to me, there's a lot of competition on this roster.
Man, how much of it?
So
that sounded like he could get cut, didn't it?
Right. But the thing is, I was talking to Greg about this on Gabriel Talks Football earlier today. Greg says he's got $12 million, so you cut him, you're paying $12 million for nothing. And you're not going to find somebody to supplant him anywhere as good. So keep him on the fucking roster, but don't let him start. And today at practice, for the second time in a row, because Nate Davis has missed 2 practice, you've had at left tackle Braxton Jones, you've had at left guard Tevin Jenkins, you had at center the guy that we picked up from the Rams, Shelton. At right guard, you had Ryan Bates, who is supposed to be probably the number 1 center. And then at right tackle, you had Darnell Wright. That could be the starting 5. And Nate Davis sits on the bench, nursing an injury or whatever the fuck is wrong with him. And God bless you, Nate. I know you had that family issue last year, but now, this is a time where Bears fans and the coaching staff apparently is starting to be a little bit concerned. So you gotta show up, brother, and own that and earn that money, because if not, we're moving on. And when your name comes up, we might start booing as opposed to encouraging you to play better.
Doesn't it seem like over the years, and maybe it's just because we've lost, it seems so negative, but it seems like over the years, the Bears have gotten people in free agency that were good elsewhere. And then something like this happens and they get here, like their mom dies. And I'm not making light of that. I've lost my mom. You've lost your mom. So we're not mocking that. Absolutely. I'm just saying, but something happens and they never get on track. Like, It just like they get hurt and then, 2-3 years go by and they get cut because it just doesn't work when they come here. That's happened so many times.
Yeah, and I'm sure that happens with a lot of the other teams. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Our perception is of the Chicago Bears, and it does seem that happens over and over and over again. Although I will say this about Nate Davis: when we first acquired him, I didn't know who the fuck he was, so I started doing the research, and I went over to Pro Football Focus, and of course, they're as reliable as my dick getting a hard on, so it's sketchy there. But the numbers on him were, he's a fantastic run blocker, but as a pass blocker, he's middle of the pack, maybe even a little worse. And that's what I saw last year when he was in there. As a pass blocker, Justin Fields was running for his life because of Nate Davis, but as a run blocker, the motherfucker was outstanding. And so I had to question, Ryan Poe's decision to bring him in, but I think that Ryan Poe's was kind of in a desperate situation. I need to bring in some blockers, I need to bring in some veterans. I need to help this quarterback we have, Justin Fields, at the time. And so that may have been the best deal he could work out, but it's certainly not paying dividends right now. So that's unsettling. We
really need to get that center position solved. I mean, going back to, Mustafa and then Lucas Patrick, you hope that the guy snapping the Cody Whitehair, bad snaps, you hope that you can count on the snap being proper and not the center not being a turnstile. It just seems like the center gets pushed back into the quarterback's lap just incessantly. So if they can solve the center position, then maybe Nate Davis at right guard won't be such a large, looming problem if the center can actually play football.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, I talked to Greg and Greg isn't 100% right. Of course, he shares opinions. He was not big on Caleb Williams, and now he seems to be changing his mind and so forth. But Greg seems like super confident that we've got a center, and either Ryan Bates, his preference at number 1, or the Shelton guy who was the starter the last 2 years at the Rams. And neither one of them is going to go to the Pro Bowl. But he feels that they're good enough to think that we don't have to go for Connor Williams, the former Miami Dolphins center who is recovering from an ACL and is still a free agent. So I hope that is the case, that we're set there at center, and then at the right guard position and the left guard position. That seems to be the biggest problem area right now because we're not sure about Tevin Jenkins with his injury history, and he's up for a new contract. So he probably saw that DJ Moore news and said, God damn it, well, they're not even talking to me. In fact, he said at his last press conference, Dan, that they told his agent that they were not going to talk to them about a contract extension until the bye week. What does that tell you?
They want to see him stay healthy.
Yes, exactly.
And if he doesn't, they're not even going to entertain it because, to use a cliche, they didn't draft him. That's the previous administration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And they are unhappy about availability. You just heard Ryan Poles talk about availability, and if he's not available, then we've got problems. Scottish Bear says, just remember we had $80 million of dead cap when Poles made all the cap hit cuts. $12 million dead cap won't kill us. If he has a problem with the locker room, Poles could cut him and make him an example. And he is, of course, talking about Nate Davis. Yeah, I just feel like sometimes there are tough decisions. I've, been fortunate enough to manage and be responsible for staffs at a corporate level. And then you look down the list of people, well, if we get rid of this person who's been underachieving a little bit, what's that going to do to this department? And can we find somebody to do some of the things that he will do and so forth? And so you got to go through all that stuff. The idea of having Nate Davis as a backup, and if he has any pride whatsoever, and a lot of people would argue he doesn't, because look at what we're doing. But if he has any pride whatsoever, he'll start working a little harder to regain his starting position, because I'm sure he wants to sign another contract unless he's, happy with the few $1 million he's got in the bank account. So it's a tough call. It's a tough call. And being a general manager in football is a lot tougher than what I had it at the corporate level as a staff director.
Well, maybe having 5 preseason games. Again, presumably the starters aren't playing tomorrow, as we've heard.
Right.
So maybe he can get back and play in at least 3 or 4 of these to solidify his spot. I mean, he's got a little bit extra time. A little bit extra time this year.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. That's a great point. He has to. Now, when you said 5 preseasons, it's actually 4, but the 5th one that I think you're referring to is the scrimmage with the Bengals.
No, the Hall of Fame game is a 5th game.
And then there are 3 preseason games.
Oh, yeah, you're right. 4 back in the day. My bad. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're correct. They added the extra game in the regular season. That is my mistake. You're totally right. I apologize. So 4 preseason games now with the extra game.
Right.
So it used to be 5. Like back in 2005, when we had the Hall of Fame game, we had 5.
It had
6 in the 70s. Yeah.
Yes, when I was growing up following football, I was like, why are there so many fucking practice games? And the league started saying, don't call them practice games, don't call them exhibition, call them preseason games. It's like, this is a fucking practice game. I'm not seeing Dick Butkus out there. I'm not seeing Dick Gordon, Gale Sayers. I'm not seeing any of the stars. It has to be practice anyway. All right, I got a bunch of sound here that I want to play. Since we're talking about offensive line, let's move over to the defensive line. The defensive line is obviously so key to the success, whatever success the Chicago Bears are going to have in 2024. And Zach Pickens is a guy that has not been talked about that much because a lot of the attention has turned on to Montez Sweat and to Gervon Dexter. Well, Pickens was asked about that during his press conference today, and this is what he said to the question, do you have a chip on your shoulder?
Oh, yes. That's what keeps me whole. I always been doubted, so I use that as fuel and always to keep going. And Dex, Montez, they all stay on me. Bill, they challenge me. Everybody still challenges me like I'm still one of them. So everybody is happy where I'm at. I got a lot to improve on and work on, and that's what camp is for too. So,
Zach, what do you think it'll take for you to see more reps this season? What's it going to take from you individually?
I guess identifying when it's running past and just let loose, let it go, don't hold back.
What were the challenges in making that identification for you last year?
I guess playing nose, it's like everything's so fast, everything's so quick, so it may look like it's run, but it's pass, and it's realizing their steps, how many steps they're taking. They can only go left, right, or back, or forward. So knowing where the slide and everything is going, and I'm slowly starting to understand that because we got calls to help us knowing if it's pass, if it's delta, it's this. So it's really to help everybody to get their rush plan on, work together. If you think you got a little game, we can do it. So I love how we're doing it this year.
Zach, when you go.
Dan, I bet you that 50% of the people in the chat right now said last year, this kid is playing out of position. He is not a nose tackle. Greg Gabriel said it. I don't know shit, but he didn't look as good as the guy that played at the Senior Bowl, and he wasn't playing the nose tackle at the Senior Bowl, if I remember correctly. So again, the Bears put a guy out of a position and expect him to play at a high level. And Zach Pickens clearly said there he had difficulties identifying whether it was a run or pass because he was right over the center. Isn't that sad?
It is. And it sounds like they don't think they made the wrong move. I mean, They're going to keep him there.
Mm-hmm.
It's so. You remember Urlacher came in from being a safety.
Mm-hmm.
So to be a good player, you need so much luck that the coaching staff puts you at the right position and gives you the appropriate coaching. It's just like even the guys that really, really you think suck have a lot of talent, just things go against them.
Yeah.
So you just hope that this kid can like he said, he's working his ass off to see the proper cadences and things that reveal if it's a pass or a run.
Yeah. Dan, did you ever play football at a level where, did you ever play tackle football?
Yes.
Okay. So I know that when I played, I was always trying to find the right position for me. And when I played in defensive line, this is just tackle in the sand lot, no pads on stuff. I never played with pads and stuff. I was, when I played in the line of scrimmage, which is a position that I really wanted to play because I'm playing against a bunch of Puerto Ricans and they're all much smaller than me. So I figured I can fucking move this guy over. But I had problems seeing, what was going on because I would get engaged and get so focused on the guy lined up over me, whether it was offensive line or defensive line. It just made it difficult for me. Did you ever have that problem?
Are we talking Sandlot or are we talking like in school?
Yeah, in school. Since you played at that level,
I felt like I never learned to watch the film properly.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back on it, Sylvester and I were talking about that last year during the Bears-Broncos weekend. We were in the hotel that your Mrs. Gandia put us up in, if you recall. And we're so appreciative of that even to this day. I didn't learn how to watch film. I feel like I should have known the responsibilities of everybody else down the line. And where I'm supposed to be, I should be able to know where the left guard's going to be, even if I'm playing right tackle. And I wish that I knew more then. And so I felt like in Sandlot, I was good for sure. In school, I felt like I didn't know what I was doing because in Sandlot, they always made me the tight end because I could catch.
Sure.
And right tackle, I had to play both ways, and defense, I never liked defense. Defense always made me tired. I could take someone else hitting me, but if I hit them, it just made me tired as fuck for some reason. But at right tackle, I felt like it was just like I didn't know enough of what I was supposed to do. I was just trying to block my guy and stay out of the way of everybody else. But I felt like I didn't know, I wasn't a smart player, but our coach, we didn't really learn a lot on the line.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm reminded of Brian Urlacher saying that I think it was his rookie season, maybe his second season, in a radio interview, saying, "I don't know how to read film." And the guys at the Score Sports Radio, I don't remember who it was that was interviewing him, but they were what? And it became great big news. And Greg Blosh, who was the defensive coordinator at the team, got very defensive about it. Started, basically. I liked Greg Blosh a lot, cigar smoking.
He was condescending, though.
But yes, very condescending. And he basically threw it back at the reporters. Well, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Blah, 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 blah. And, here it is. You got your number one draft pick is saying, you guys have not taught me how to read film, which is basically what you went through and a lot of other players go through. It's like I said at the top, people watch tape all the time. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. By the way, here's our guy. Yeah. There he is, Sanjan. Look at how attractive he is, man. Does he have a lot of money?
Probably. Look at him.
Yeah, I might go both ways then. Give me a call, Sanjan.
I was just going to say our problem, too, when I was watching film, we watched it on the projector. Like today, everyone watches it on their iPad or their Microsoft Surface or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like it was literally an old school 70s kind of projector. And that sound, it was like an old science film, it just felt like you're, it just was so awful. And I didn't know what I was looking for. I mean, it's part my fault, but I was a kid,
Yeah.
I wasn't taught up at all.
Right. You need a coach who's going to get you focused on the film and knock out the surrounding noise, whether it's the girl who wants to fuck you so bad that she's distracting you from looking at the film, to the sound of the projector. Just gets you to focus in and then teaches you, and then has a projector that goes back and forward, and say, see what you're doing with your hands there, Dan? No, you can't do that. Because you would have been a great football player, Dan Aguirre.
I don't know about that. I was really good at Sandline. I can just say that. I got my ass handed to me when I was young over and over and over, 8, 9, 10. And by the time I was a teenager, I was already bigger than most of everybody else anyway. But I wasn't afraid either because I got my ass kicked so many times as a young kid. But so I had heart, I guess you could say.
Well, let me ask you this. If you would have had good coaching and so forth, and maybe colleges would have looked at you,
No, I wasn't that gifted. No way.
But maybe like a junior college or a Division II, Tyson Bagent school.
Yeah, maybe
or whatever.
something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe something
So
like that.
what position would you have played, and what is your height, and what weight would you think would be ideal for you
Back
to
then?
maintain? Yes.
Back then or now?
No, back then.
Back then, I was like 6'3", 240, and I think I could have been utilized even at school as a tight end very easily.
Yeah, fucking
and I ended up being 6'5", so I'm like 6'5", 300 now. So I would obviously have to cut down and play tight end. But plus I'm like 75 years old. But if I were younger, I could. Yeah, I still like to think I could do it. But it's another thing too. My vision was much better then than it is now as you get older, like I have to wear glasses now, then I just needed them for reading books. Like now I need my glasses.
Did you have good hands?
Yeah. That was my strong suit. Sylvester had backed me up on that too. I'm not just saying that, that was the one thing any of them wanted me is like, oh, he's going to catch whatever we throw to him. Might be for 3 yards, but he'll catch it.
Did you ever jerk off, Sylvester?
I did not.
Is that Sylvester there?
That is.
You know what? I got to tell you, because I was looking at this picture earlier because I was cleaning up some stuff. Should I get rid of this picture? No, I want to keep it just in case. So it's funny that we're talking about Sylvester. This guy looks like the kind of guy you want to walk around with in case somebody fucks with you. He's got your back.
He's a tough motherfucker, man. He's short, but even before he went to the Navy too, he did his time in the Navy, but his son it looks exactly the same as he did. His son, it was a fullback, and he could have played fullback too, but he was primarily on defense. But yeah, he's a tough guy. Tough guy, and it certainly hit me hard a lot growing up. So like when we were playing, he was a ferocious hitter, man.
Well, make sure you bring him on before the season starts, or even during the season. We can talk football with him because he's been a guest once before, and I loved his take on several things.
He's coaching right now.
Is he? Okay.
He coached a high school for a long time, but he's coaching like a semi-pro team.
Okay, cool. All right, let's get back to some of the sound. Eberflus got pissed off when somebody in the media said, you guys have a top 5 defense. He said, wait a minute.
What we do on the grass is what matters. Okay, so all the talk of all these numbers and all that stuff, I mean, people say top 5. What does that really mean? What does it mean? We're at the end of the year and you're telling me we're a top 5? How do you know that? So to me, it's about what we do on the grass. And people can say all that, but to me, that doesn't mean anything. That's not a hill of beans to me. It's about what we do out there and how we execute as a group and the continuity and the availability we have together and start building that up. And then we'll see where we are.
Sounds like a tough motherfucker there, right?
I wish he would shave that beard. He knows he's coaching for his job. There's no doubt about that. If the Bears are disappointing, he's going to get the axe. So I think he's got to do that as a motivational tactic for the defense. Don't read your press clippings. Don't get, complacent.
But I agree with Cody here. It sounds like, at least in the behind the podium, he sounds more authentic. He sounds more like himself. I love it. And there's rumors that this guy who is now in charge of communications brought in a consultant to work with some of the top Bears brass for press conferences because Kevin Warren was not happy with Eberflus's performance at press conferences. And I see a difference. And, Eberflus says the beard was his wife's idea. Maybe it was. But I think it had a lot to do with he knew Hard Knocks was coming. He knew his new boss, the president of the team, was not happy with press conferences. And so he went through a transformation, rebranding himself to be a little tougher and stuff. And so I'm hoping when Hard Knocks starts next week that we see more of that edge and less of the insurance salesman head coach that we've had the last couple of years of his stay. Because wouldn't you describe him as kind of an insurance salesman type of guy?
I think that might be too strong.
Yet another Dan Aguirre ice cold take. Eberflus will stay as long as the Bears get at least 6 wins. I got to have this guy on the show because I know you two guys will debate. And it'll be fun for me to just sit here and eat some popcorn.
Do you remember after the Denver game last year, I was at O'Hare, and the headline on the Sun-Times was horse shit.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
It just had an asterisk in one of the letters. If the Bears get off to a start like that, you don't think that he would be in trouble?
Yes, I do think. I think, the schedule, as I looked at it the other day, the schedule has some challenges. There's no doubt. He's very fortunate that the Bears don't fire people during the season, because if they let him play out the schedule, I think the second half of the schedule, actually, starting with on the road, at home with Carolina, maybe even the Rams, Carolina, then in London against the Jaguars. Then you got the bye week before you have these 2 road games against very beatable teams, the Commanders and Cardinals. I think that this team could, around week 9, start to gel, particularly the offense, start to gel where the defenses of the Patriots, Packers, even the Vikings with all the fucking blitzes they throw, they don't scare me. The Lions defense, of course, that's a fucking loser city. The Niners are going to be a problem. But what I'm trying to say is that hopefully the Bears will get hot in that second half of the season. Eberflus keeps his job. I can live with the insurance salesman or whatever the fuck however the fuck he comes out at the podium. But I'm just hoping for continuity and for progression week in, week out.
I'm definitely rooting for him. I mean, I want him to.
I know you are. You'd fucking root for Donald Trump if he had a Bears jersey on.
Oh. I'm the one with the cold takes.
That's funny. Maybe not. Okay. So, by the way, Eberflus was caught in a lie today. They were talking about the Hall of Fame preparation. He was asked by a reporter, what's the schedule like? And he talked about it and said, we're going to meet, Richard Dent and a bunch of other 85 Bears, and they're going to talk, and then we're going to go to Hall of Fame and so forth. He laid out the whole schedule. He goes, and he said this, and then the lie was revealed by the Chicago sports media.
So, yeah, it's going to be exciting. Our guys are excited about it, and it's going to be fun.
A few minutes later.
Have you been to the Hall of Fame before?
No, I don't even. Yeah, we played Cleveland. That was probably my only time in Ohio. So,
are you looking forward to it? Just to check it out.
I don't know. Do we get to even do that? We did. I don't know if we get to actually walk around. So, okay.
He said you guys are really excited about it. He told us 10 minutes ago he's taking you on a tour, and you guys are really excited.
Oh yeah, super excited. They got all the heads in there and all the whatever they. Yeah. Okay. Yes, the bust. Yeah.
Not real heads.
Yeah. Yeah, super excited. I can't wait to see him.
Wow.
Khalil Herbert exposing that Matt Eberflus is a liar. You think we'll see some more lies on Hard Knocks next Tuesday?
Perhaps. I've seen the Hall of Fame twice myself.
Yeah, you've been there twice, and you showed us some great pictures from your last visit, two years ago?
No, it was last December after the Browns game.
That's right. You were
that Darnell Mooney dropped the pass at the end for us to lose. Jesus. And then I had to listen in the lift back to the hotel, Cleveland Sports Talk Radio, which was like, can someone just kill me in this fucking car right now?
Oh my gosh.
They're like, oh, we love Flacco, Joe Flacco. The Bears suck. They still suck. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Well, what do it is kind of embarrassing. Now, we were praising Eberflus for his previous take, and talking about, whatever the fuck he was talking about. But now he's clearly caught in a lie. The players are all excited. Well, either Khalil Herbert, wasn't listening during that part of the presentation, or he really hasn't gauged player opinion appropriately. Does that mean anything to you, or it's just bullshit?
It's very John Fox-ish. Well, where he just says whatever he wants to say, and it doesn't matter. There's no accountability.
Yeah, well done. Well done. So next Tuesday, by the way, we are going to go on immediately after the Hard Knock special. It plays at 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern, 6 whatever, East, West. And then as soon as that show is over, Dan's going to watch it wherever he's at. Tooch and I are going to watch it wherever we're at. And then we're going to come on live. Their first promo was released today. Did you get a chance to see it, Dan?
I did. I thought it was well done.
Well, for those who haven't, here it is.
I can see the operation, the execution. Keep it simple and be consistent. We're going to give you the keys. You go and drive it. This is your team.
You better come to play.
Rough and tough monsters of the Midway.
You're going to get hit, and it's going to hurt. I like this kind of body.
With the first pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Caleb Williams.
Unequivocally, we have the right set of individuals.
That's what we do.
They're going to take us to the next level.
Really well done promo. I'm jealous that I didn't get a chance to work on it because that's what I love to do, is those kinds of videos. But the one thing that really jazzed me up about that promo is that everyone that was a part of the history of the Bears that they showed there, everyone I saw play. I saw play as a kid growing up on CBS Sports, did all the Bears games back then. So I saw Butkus play. I saw Sayers play. I saw Hallis's last season as coach of the Chicago Bears. So that history it runs through my blood. And there have been times where I've wanted to say, fuck this team. I'm just going to take the season off until these guys get better. But I've stuck with them. I've had more loyalty to Chicago Bears than my first two wives, by the way. But you and I have that same kind of loyalty to this team. That's why you and I right now, we have hard-ons and we're ejaculating all over the place in anticipation for next Tuesday, right?
You think it's kind of like brain damage or something? Maybe we like to be punished. Or sadists or something. I don't know. We enjoy negativity. We like to wallow in self-pity. I don't know what it is, but I can't switch. I'm addicted to the team. I'm an addict. I am. I'm not leaving. Can I comment on the clip real quick though?
Please do.
They always show footage of Singletary where he's like, I like this kind of party. And that game, that's in 92 when he was wired for Brett Favre's first game as a Packer at Soldier Field, and we lost like 32-6. So the Singletary's out there, I like this kind of party while we're losing by 29. They always act like that's good footage right there. We're getting our asses kicked in the context of it. But yeah.
Dan, I did not know that, and now you have kicked me in the nuts. I might not make it through the rest of the show.
My favorite clip from that game is we're getting blown out. Favre's starting to do his Favre kind of things because we have to give Favre credit. He played well early, especially young. He was, all over the place and unorthodox in kind of ways that enthusiastic. But so Favre's doing his Favre thing, and Singletary looks over at somebody, probably Mongo, and he's like, "Can somebody please knock that young quarterback out?" That's a young quarterback. Knock him down. That's the best.
I love that. I gotta find that.
It's late in the year of 92, Ditka's final year, and Singletary's last year as a Bear as well. Ironically, the last game they had in Chicago, Pittsburgh was really good that year. It was Cowher's first season. They had a bye. They were in his second round of the playoffs that year. They got beat by Buffalo, but they came into Chicago heavy favorites And the Bears blew them out in Ditka and Singletary's last game as Bears at Soldier Field.
Man, your fucking memory. I'm so jealous. I can't remember the last time I jerked off, and it was probably this morning. This is Matt Eberflus being asked what he hopes Hard Knocks is going to show about him, and he doesn't really answer the question. At least I don't think he does.
You know, I told the guys in the beginning that, hey, just be authentic, be yourself. That's good enough. Trust me. You know, we're working right. We got winning habits here, and winning habits. You keep doing right, things are going to go right, and just do that. You guys can see it. You know, the way we practice, the way we finish, the way we hustle on the backside. You know, and then we just got to keep getting the lines. You know, I want to see that physical part. I want to have that. Hopefully that shows that we're physical on the front lines. And but in terms of operation, in terms of our culture, all those things are there.
Anything come to mind immediately when you say that?
Yes,
when you
I
hear
sarcastically said "be you," what Matt Nagy always said. That's what I heard. Maybe it's just like sort of a PTSD kind of thing from the Nagy years. And I was like, oh no, he's saying "be you." I got to be myself or whatever. Yeah, I tuned the rest of it out.
Yeah, you know, but I've heard other players from other teams say that, so I gotta believe that was some kind of a mantra that was set by some organization or some guru football coaches read from and so forth. That, you know, I keep hearing guys from the New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, et cetera, talk about you just got to be yourself out there, you know. So I think that Matt Nagy inherited that. I doubt very much that Matt Nagy invented that, but Eberflus has continued with a lot of those Nagy-isms that are probably, you know, in some coaching book somewhere.
Oh.
I see that Johnny Santucci is standing by. You want to give me a thumbs up, thumbs side, or thumbs down? Ooh, baby. When he gives me that thumbs up, I start thinking about his porno career and where that thumb has been.
Up a man's ass.
Up a man's ass.
You don't want to know.
I figured your Bear State of Affairs was going to cover Hard Knocks, which is why the show just happened to, I can't say by design, just happened to have a couple of Hard Knocks mentions just before you. How are you, Tooch, first of all?
Doing all right. Well, I mean, I was, like I said, I went to Chicago. I wanted to call you, Aldo, and I was so busy. I had to move stuff for my son. I got sick. Like Saturday night. It was like, then I came back Monday, got a COVID test, but it was negative. And then, you know, a lot of run around. I went to the Festa Santa Liberata at St. Rosalie's Church in Harwood Heights. Saw all my cousins that I hadn't seen in a long time. They had a lot of good stuff. Yeah.
Well, you know, this weekend on Friday, my daughter and my son-in-law got married again, so to speak. They had their formal ceremony.
Congratulations. Yeah.
When they first got married, it was during COVID, so we didn't do anything. And so on Friday, we had about 200 people. I had a great fucking time. I got fucked up. I was, you know, looking at all of the bridesmaids with lust in my heart. I'm just kidding. Kidding. Tooch, so how are things otherwise? Have you been winning some money with weekend sports?
Oh, man. Anthony is red hot. If anybody wants to sign up with somebody, give them some betting tips, man.
Where can they find Anthony?
I'm riding along for the ride, man. You know, cashed out some money tonight to get some food, dinner, and stuff. Yeah. Powdedsports.com.
There you go. That's the place to go. Joe Grizz is there often.
Yeah.
Joe Grizz, that picture, man, you look like a bad motherfucker, dude. Holy shit. You want to get straight into your Bear State of Affairs? Yeah, why don't we do that, and then we'll talk Bears on the rebound.
Yep.
And so that leaves it up to me to play your open. I want to play the Hawk 201. Hold on. Where is it? There it is.
You got to give him that Hawk 2 and spit on that thing. You get me?
Go get them, Tooch. Go get them.
All right, Bears State of Affairs 2024 NFL offseason Hall of Fame week Yeah, what's happened in Barflies? Well, the Bears have their first preseason game coming up in about 48 hours in Canton, Ohio, when the Bears play the Texans in the annual Hall of Fame game. As well, the Bears will see 3 players inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame: Steve Mongo McMichael, Devin Hester, and Julius Peppers. But the big question on Bears fans' minds is this: will Caleb Williams even play? While Williams' status for Thursday night's game against the Texans remains unclear, he told reporters on Monday he'd play if the decision was solely up to him. The main motivation isn't difficult to find either. He knows he needs live reps. But one could claim that Williams is getting all the reps he needs in practice, but those are often in controlled environments. Quote, "I always think there's more pros than cons in anything, especially for a young guy like myself," Williams said yesterday. "The reps are always paramount for anybody like myself, a young rookie, a second-year guy, a third-year guy. It's paramount. It's really important, and we'll see about these preseason games coming, how they'll play out." The Bears are balancing concerns about preserving Williams' health and providing him with the necessary NFL experience to be ready for the season opener. Yeah, and that's when the games actually count. Preserving Williams' health.
That's fake news, Dan.
Preserving Williams' health is a reasonable goal for a team that just traded away a former first-round quarterback, Justin Fields, spent the number 1 overall pick on Williams, and is wagering their whole future on the shoulder of Caleb Williams. Yeah, so don't be surprised if Williams and the starters don't play more than a series of two, if at all, versus a team whom they'll play again in a little over a month from now.
You are gay.
As it stands, the Texans are a slight favorite over the Bears, with lines ranging from the Bears +1 to +2, according to BetMGM. The NFL Hall of Fame game is typically one of the most popular games for wagering during the preseason. In terms of overall betting volume, the sportsbook said that NFL preseason betting will match or exceed the action on an average Major League Baseball game during the same time period. Interesting. As the preseason kicks off on Thursday night, NFL fans will be treated to a matchup of 2 teams heading into the 2024-2025 NFL campaign with high hopes. And the Texans were one of last season's surprise stories. Preseason Super Bowl odds had the Texans at the back of the pack. However, Houston proceeded to go on and win the AFC South and advance to the divisional round of the playoffs behind their own rookie quarterback, C.J. Stroud. And while the Bears had a tougher road last season, wrapping up with a record of 7-10, they shipped Justin Fields' last season's starters over to the Steelers for a conditional draft choice, and they're all in on Caleb Williams. The club and the fans hope they have found the answer to the franchise quarterback question in Williams, the first overall pick of the 2024 NFL Draft. Fans are optimistic for the Bears' season behind their franchise quarterback, especially after watching the quick turnaround success of Stroud and the Texans. Why not us? Meanwhile, the Bears' new stadium plans have seemingly been stuck in neutral for a while, and it appears that won't change anytime soon. Speaking at an unrelated press conference in Chicago on Monday, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says it's highly unlikely any deal between lawmakers and the Bears on a taxpayer-funded stadium could be reached this year. Despite this opposition, Bears president and CEO Kevin Warren has repeatedly said the team's focus remains on building a new stadium downtown along the lakefront. The Tribune also reports that Pritzker and Warren met privately over breakfast in mid-June for the first time, and Barroom News has obtained this picture of Pritzker's breakfast. Yeah.
What the hell?
Because he's fat. That's a joke.
Yeah, I got it.
That kind of fell flat.
It did. I think Dan left.
I'm here.
Excitement's bubbling here at the Barroom and all over Bears fandom as HBO is set to give us the training camp peek inside the Bears locker room when Hard Knocks premieres 1 week from today.
Woohoo!
That was a mouthful. Bears fans have waited a long time for this much-needed close-up look at their favorite team, as that favorite team kicks off a whole new era with their franchise quarterback. While Hard Knocks is famous for documenting training camp battles and roster cuts, I thought I'd give you a few people who might be on the bubble. First, Velus Jones. who's been talking a big game lately, but Bears fans have been more like,
What would you say you do here?
yeah. We don't know. That's time to put up or shut up for the third-year receiver and special teams player. How about Larry Borum? Could he be on that bubble list? He's been the Bears' insurance plan at swing tackle for a while now. Borum's fourth-year performance escalator skyrockets his salary from just over $1 million to just under $3.2 million. While that price tag might be justifiable for a rock-solid swing tackle, Borum does not really fit that bill going into year 4. Also, the Bears signed a pair of veterans, Matt Pryor and Jake Curran, to compete for the swing tackle spot over the next 4 weeks. Barring a major injury to the offensive line, could Borum be on his way out? And would anyone be surprised if I were to add veteran guard Nate Davis to the bubble list? Yeah, Davis is on. There you go. I heard you talking about him earlier, Aldo. Davis's on-field availability from both a health and personal standpoint has not been ideal since the Bears signed him. This offseason, Davis has continued to miss practice and is now day-to-day with another injury. Continuity is extremely important on the offensive line, especially with a rookie under center. Now, it's true that Davis's contract would prohibit any outright cut because of the cap hit, but one has to think that management and coaches are feeling a little frustrated at giving a roster spot to a player who's been persona non grata. That's right, especially with the offensive line being arguably one of the team's biggest concerns this offseason. One player who is definitely not on the bubble is newly minted wide receiver DJ Moore, who signed a 4-year, $110 million contract extension today. That deal includes an $82.6 million guarantee. Moore has now had the first 10 years of his career guaranteed, a first in NFL history for a wide receiver. That definitely changes the view that Chicago is where wide receivers go to die, but in a good way, and that is Bears' state of affairs.
Sometimes we're funny, sometimes we suck.
We're finished talking.
Let's get this one, huh?
What would you say you do here?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
I love it. Hey, that was a really, really good state of affairs, but you just swung and missed on one thing. You know what it was?
J.B. Pritzker joke.
No. That was fun. That was fine. Is that Eberflus announced that no starters will be playing Thursday.
Oh, okay. I missed that part.
Yeah, you clearly did. And people in the
I
chat
was
room,
for that too.
they were roasting you in the chat room. Let me see.
I didn't catch that. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yep.
By the way, this guy is not roasting you. He says you've got the best background green screen he's ever seen.
Well, yeah. Tell him to come on over and visit me at Aaron Mikulski's house.
That's right. We're the actual.
Yeah. When did Eberflus get that? I was looking for info.
He started the press conference with that. He said
Okay.
The big news is no starters were playing, and I guess the media didn't make that big of a deal out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sort of stumbled on it because I look at these press conferences.
I figured nobody was going to be starting though, but
yeah, and Caleb wanted to play, but at the same time, he's resigned to whatever they say.
The news was all about Caleb saying I want to play in the game, and we'll see.
Right, Dan, what do you think? Do you think that the Bears made a mistake in not playing Caleb and some of the starters?
He's got to play a lot in the second and third game. Remember, we did that with Justin Fields and Trubisky before, where it's just like, oh, we're not playing the starters at all this preseason, Matt Nagy.
Yep.
I know it worked in 2018, but it just feels like you don't want to start week one. Remember, we kind of did this last year and then started the season flat as hell. So you don't want that. He needs to play extensively in the second and third game. And the fourth game is just all right, Tyson, it's your turn to go, or Bajent, go on out there. It's your turn to solidify the number 2 spot. He's going to play the whole game probably. So, if they're not going to play him Thursday, he's got to play the second and third game.
What do you think, Tooch?
I would play him because we're going to be playing the Texans in like 5 weeks. 6 weeks, whatever. Game 2 of the season. So I mean, I don't want to give your hand away. We need a week 2 victory.
Right. Well, I will say this, that one of the things. Let me see. I'm trying to find my little video here to play right after I say what I'm going to play, but I fucking can't find. Oh, Tyson Bagent has been named the starter for Thursday. And so Tyson Bagent made a huge splash with, I posted this video and it's got almost 2 million views. This is Tyson Bagent. He was asked, isn't it amazing? He was asked, do you think that, were you concerned that the Bears might add a veteran quarterback during the offseason because they drafted Caleb Williams?
I told the guys in the beginning that, hey, just be authentic, be yourself. That's good enough. Trust me. We're working right. We got winning habits here, and winning habits. You keep doing right, things are going to go right, and just do that.
Obviously, that is the wrong one. Where's my Bagent? Bagent, hey, it is.
I didn't really think too much about it. I was too busy grinding my absolute face off in the off season. But whatever they were going to do, that's completely up to them. I can't control that. But I was just excited to come back. Whoever was going to be in the QB room was going to be in the QB room. Nothing was going to change on my end though. But yeah, like you said, it feels good to know that they have some, that they have confidence in me, and that they like what I was able to do last year, and hopefully they're being able to see the strides that I've made in the off season and going into year 2.
What was the hardest grinding your face off thing that you did?
June 19th, shout out to one of my best friends, Derek Gallagher, 1 mile burpee broad jump. Hour and 7 minutes. Let's go.
Is that burpee for a mile?
Burpee broad jump. 1 mile.
How many calories do you burn out?
I don't know. I ate a lot after that. It was nice.
What would you eat afterwards? Where'd you go after that?
I went to Betty's. Shout out to Shepherdstown, West Virginia. Went to Betty's restaurant. I think I just got 6 eggs and bacon with some toast. I might not be getting better necessarily at football when I'm doing a workout like that. However, just the mental edge that it gives me, finding out, what I can endure versus what the next man can endure, in a sense gives me a little mental edge when I show up to things like this and people start complaining about our schedule. I can kind of have somewhere in the back of my head that I've done things far worse than this. That I can handle really kind of anything that's thrown at me and be able to just keep the main thing, let it flow off the shoulders, and just kind of, react to what happens next.
Tooch, unbelievable.
I love that
right?
kid. Yeah. Right attitude. Love it. I mean, he was like squatting like 6 plates there, man. It was like, yeah.
Tooch, did you know what a burpee
yeah.
broad jump? I had no idea what that was. I had no fucking idea. And when I Googled it to see somebody demonstrating it, I was like, holy shit, I would be
Nicholas
exhausted.
Moriano did it.
Did he?
On X, yeah. He did like 4 of them, then he was dead.
Yeah, can you imagine? That must have been cool. I'll find that on X.
Yeah, but when I was in junior high school, that was like burpees. You got to do burpees, like the workout of choice for the gym teachers.
When I was in high school, it was. Let me get ahead of that. It wasn't burpees. It was
squat thrust was another name for it. The squat thrust.
Yeah, I was not.
Sounds
into
like
that.
we
I was
used to have
into
that
marijuana.
on the porno set. The squat thrust.
Oh, okay. By the way, you're not seeing Dana going up the screen because he has to take a little break here for work purposes. So he'll join us in about 20 minutes or so. So Tooch and I will talk about so many of the things that we have to talk about. But so Tyson Bagent is going to start Thursday's game, and Hard Knocks premieres the following Tuesday. Yep. Do you think, Johnny Santucci, and I asked the people in the chat room, do you think that perhaps Tyson Bagent can take the spotlight away from Caleb Williams because of the great press conference he's had? I bet you he's been giving HBO great material, and then he's going to be the starter in the game. Do you think when we watch episode 1 of Hard Knocks, it's going to be the Tyson Bagent show?
He's gonna steal something. I'll tell you that, man. He's got a hell of a personality. I like that. That's why the Bears kept him. He's got something, a little moxie. He's got a lot of personality. The teammates love him. He's got the right mindset.
See, my man Thian's Smide podcast is saying no. Next question, but I would not dismiss Tyson Bagent that quickly. Now, let me do the disclaimer. I wanted Justin Fields to be the number one quarterback because that was the big investment. Now I want Caleb Williams to be the big investment. But every time I get to hear about Tyson Bagent and from Tyson Bagent, he gives me hope that he can be a quality football player and maybe even a starter.
You know why I'm laughing?
Tell me why.
Because the Bears never have an embarrassment of riches at quarterback.
Tell me about it.
Right? We're like we can get rid of Justin Fields because we got these two guys. That never would have happened. It never would have happened before.
Yeah. My man says breaking news: Aldi, Dan Shorty Bagent, three-way sex. Oh yeah, because Mr. Shorty has a love affair with Tyson Bagent, and I'm not quite to that stage, but I do think there is enough proof in the pudding here, so to speak, to see that he gets the ball, he takes the proper drop back, he plants that back foot, and he fires the ball. He runs. He reminds me a bit of Brock Purdy. Now, did he perform like Brock Purdy last year? No, he didn't. But Brock Purdy played at what? Was it Iowa or Iowa State?
Iowa State, yeah.
Iowa State. And Bagent played at a Division II school that nobody's ever heard of. So that's the difference. In my opinion, maybe I'm wrong. We'll see.
Look, if Brock Purdy hadn't stayed in school next year, he was going to be probably like he had a second round draft grade. So it wasn't
great point, Tooch. Great point.
He was because he ended up being Mr. Irrelevant, in the next year's drafts. The 49ers decided to take a flyer on him. Now he's like, taking the team to the NFC championship of the Super Bowl.
Hey, is Dan back? I have to disconnect to this, but I will be back. Dan's at 9:15. Said he will be back. Thank you for the update, Dan.
We were talking about a lot of this stuff on a tailgate show on Sunday, and I wanted to ask you: do you think C.J. Stroud is even going to play?
No, I highly, highly doubt. Given how he performed in his rookie season, one of the only rookies, one of four rookies, I believe, to pass for over 4,000 yards. Given the weapons that he has this season, it's even more solidified. I highly, highly doubt that he will play.
Right, and they have a couple good backups, quarterbacks too. The Texans, Davis Mills and Case Keenum.
I'm a fan of Davis Mills. I wanted the Bears to draft him in the third round. Now I think he went in the second round.
Around a long time too. He's won a lot of football games.
Indeed,
he was awesome in college too. He won a lot of football games in college.
Yeah,
at University of Houston.
Totally right.
Yep.
All right. So Bagent was asked about his relationship with Shane Waldron, what he has seen really in Shane Waldron since he's been under him, and this was the starting quarterback for Thursday's Chicago Bears game. His response.
I like the way that he installs. I like the way that he teaches all the concepts and run scheme, the dynamic that him and Flus and all the coaches on the offensive staff have. It's been a good flow. I feel like when I'm going back to look over plays that we installed, I'm more just looking over it rather than needing to kind of learn it again and learn the rules based on the play. So it's been pretty fluent. He does a great job of understanding what the player is feeling in the plays. He's coached everywhere. He's taught all these concepts before. So maybe just the on paper answer that another coach will give, he can give real life examples of, hey, this actually doesn't work in this look, so this is how we're going to do this, and to make it easier for you guys so that you guys can play fast. Because at the end of the day, right or wrong, as long as we're playing fast with no hesitation, you give yourself a better chance. So I think it is a good job of being able to be in the player's head and understand that what they're thinking on different plays.
Tooch, the name of this show is Bare Their Souls because we promised the audience that we're going to be totally totally transparent in the show and speak the truth and so forth. So I have to admit, during that minute and something soundbite, I took a hit from my pipe of marijuana and I was coughing so much I didn't think I would make it back on camera with you before the soundbite ended. So thank you, Tyson Bagent. All right. I agree with Bearski Film, who, by the way, I owe a huge apology. Another digression here on my part, but Bearski Film, I was supposed to appear on his podcast tomorrow, and I got distracted by something else I was working on, and all of a sudden at 7:30, I was supposed to be on at 6, and Bearski Film is leaving me a message. I'm going to kill you, motherfucker. Don't you ever do this to me again. And I have to apologize to him. I don't want him to kick my ass or anybody else, but I apologize. But he says that Bagent is so smart. You got to agree with that, right, Tooch?
Yeah, he's a smart kid. Yeah, I mean, look, I know we haven't seen Waldron's playbook at all with the Bears.
Right.
But already, you hear the talk of like in Oakland and like, we're glad that Getsy's gone. It's, like, it's not going so well up there. But down here, it's like, players are loving the plays, everything. He really likes to utilize a lot of 2 tight end sets. So we'll get Komet and Gerald Everett out in the game. Now we've got a trio of wide receivers. One of them who just got paid, so he's going to be a happy camper.
Yeah. I said it earlier, Tooch, is that this is a gift to Caleb Williams, because now we have given you Roma Dunze and Caleb Williams for the first 5 seasons of your NFL career. Listen, motherfucker, Caleb Williams, if you and your dad don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a gift. Imagine if Justin Fields would have had that. Now people are saying, fuck you and forget Justin Fields. But Justin Fields looks pretty good over at Steelers camp. Have you seen any of the video, Tooch?
Yeah, a little bit. Seen a little bit. Like our thing was, we really wanted to kind of wait and see the rest of the story with Justin Fields. But, we're also happy where we're at.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
I mean, the thing with like Bears and quarterbacks and stuff, it's like, we had a guy, and we didn't give him that much love. A lot of people didn't love him at all. He wasn't growing with our love.
Yeah,
we tried to water the plant with our love as Bears fans, and people didn't buy it.
He reminds me of every girl I've dated, Tooch. I love you. I'll be with you forever. Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh man. Now I got to tell you, because you, Tooch, you can relate to this probably more than anyone in the chat, anyone watching this. But you and I have sat through and cheered for the Bears since we were kids, and what we've seen year after year, with the exception of 1 year with Jim McMahon, we've just seen question marks to mediocrity at quarterback. So the whole Caleb Williams thing, clearly he has been having some problems. In fact, let me show. He was asked by Herb Howard, a guest on our show in the past, I think the way he phrased the question is, at this point, what are you working on that you're most furthest away? What are you working on for week 1 that you're most furthest away from that you want to be? And where is Caleb? Caleb answered this way. He really hesitated before answering the question.
Furthest away. It's a good question. I would say right now, working on my got me with that one. Stumped me. I would say working on my blitz looks, my blitz and coverage looks, and feeling the umbrella of the defense, and filling that out to adjust. To adjust protection, to adjust, whether it's a run, flip the run, flip the, run into it, flip the protection, get to a quick game, get to a cover zero check, however the structure of it works out, just progressing. And a lot of that comes with seeing it and reps. And so that's why also, preseason and, those things are so important.
So the big debate is, like Bearski Film says, this is why people think he's cocky. And then Mr. Shorty says, I love how he actually thought that answer out. What say you, amigo?
Cocky or confident, I mean,
great way to put it.
Probably a fine line. But yeah, I love the confidence, right now he feels pretty good, which is a good sign for us, I think. We'll see about the blitz pickup, though, because that the Vikings defensive coordinator is going to send some exotic blitzes his way. So if he's going to work on something, it better be that.
Yeah, well, the good thing they're not facing the Vikings into the middle of the season. But that was what Bearski said is interesting, because I think there are still a lot of Chicago Bears fans who are still not totally sold on Caleb Williams. And then there are people.
Wow, you think so?
Yeah, I still think so. I think that there's more and more for kind of falling in line.
I must be living in a bubble, because I've been I've been watching some stuff, man. I love what I see from Caleb. I love a lot of his stuff in college too, but a lot of that stuff, it was kind of unrefined and it needed to be harnessed. His raw playing. But a lot like Patrick Mahomes, has just been a common comparison. For his game has been, Mahomes will run around. He's got that escapability. He'll make those cross-platform throws, across, make the impossible throws. That's what Bears fans. We've been watching teams, quarterbacks do that to us for so many years. About time.
How about it? But what do you think about? Oh gosh, I forgot what I was going to ask. I was going to ask you about. The fact that Caleb Williams did not finish the year at USC strong. He lost 5 out of 6 games. Does that give you any pause?
No.
Why?
I mean, they had no defense. It was it was the Wild West out there. There were teams like Utah, had a little better defense than the Trojans. So I mean, not really.
Admittedly, I didn't see all of those losses, but I've heard that part of the reason they lost was because they got out to a slow start. The defense was not good, as you said. And so they're down 21-0 or whatever the score is, and he starts to be Superman. So he's running around trying to make a big play, fumble. I mean, he had more fumbles last 2 years than I think any of the quarterbacks that was drafted. So I just – you're seeing my paranoia. It's what you see, because could this really be true that we can have a Johnny Unitas and Aaron Rodgers and Bart Starr? I don't know. I can't say.
No, I'm with you, because we watched like I said in Bears State Affairs, we watched the Texans do it last year with the rookie quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They did it with defense, and they did it with the offensive talent too. And CJ Stroud came in and played like an all-star.
Yes,
the Bears fans have to be saying,
he could have been with us. It's what they first.
Why not
say.
us? Yep, we could have drafted CJ, but we went and we traded for that big trade. He got his draft haul. He got DJ Moore, as part of that trade.
Yeah.
So really, what we have to think about is the Bears have a tough schedule next year.
Yes,
we can't place too much. Like I said, 6 of the last 8 games are division games, which like I said, I've never seen that before in a Bears schedule. That's going to be tough.
It is.
And then Ant Mass is in the chat room, and last week he said, don't forget about the Torrey Taylor effect. And if he's dropping punts routinely inside the 5, it's going to be tough for teams to drive against Eberflus's defense.
Absolutely true.
That can help us win a couple games and get us over that 500 mark. Maybe 9-8, 10-7. So, but yeah, Bears fans are, like you said, like last week I said, well, if they win 7 games with the rookie, you got to consider it a success. And you were like, well, no, 7 is what they won last year. It's not an improvement.
Exactly. Thank you very much for adding that, because I keep hearing that 7-8 number Well, what kind of improvement is that? We should have just kept Justin. And I keep looking at this Justin tape and seeing he's making, the throw. He made a lot of those throws with Chicago. There's no doubt about it. So
he drops them in there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a great arm, and we got to remember Caleb lost 5 out of 6 to end his career at USC. He did not want to face the media. I don't think it's a big deal that he cried on his mom's shoulders. I know that's a big deal to some people, and I know that the painting of the nails is a big deal to that. I don't give a fuck about that. But what I'm trying to say is, it isn't like the guy came out of college with 2 Heismans. I know he won one a year ago. 2 Heismans and an NCAA playoff appearance. No, it was far from that. And there are other circumstances that impacted that. But as a Bears fan, I'm going to be naturally paranoid about that quarterback position. And Tooch and I are going to be the same on that. There's no talking about it.
This is my 50th year as a Bears fan. And it's kicking off the Caleb Williams era, so it's a big year for me too.
Yeah, man, this is it. We're Tooch and I are at the part of their lives where we desperately need to see a transformation in this franchise. And I'm not saying they're going to need to go in the Super Bowl in the next 2 or 3 years, but I need to see a team that is competing for playoff spots year in and year out.
Not just any punter. Just wait until the Lions get a little taste, Don.
Yeah. There's just for our audio podcast audience, there's a lot of talk about the punter on our team, and people want to see the punter on Thursday night, which is the weirdest thing ever, right, Tooch? We are praying to see our punter punt.
Is there another punter on the roster? Just out of
I don't think so.
I
don't think so. Yeah, and I don't think even if there is, I don't think he'd get any playing time unless it's somebody's cousin or nephew. Let's see what else do I got here that I want to share with you, Johnny Santucci. By the way, Dan Aguirre is still
we're not
out.
moving to Wednesdays, right?
Okay, so I wanted to talk to you guys at the end of the show, but we'll talk about it a little later. Maybe we can get input from the people in the chat. We've been talking about moving the show to Wednesdays. That way we can see Hard Knocks on Tuesday nights and then be prepared to talk about it in depth on Wednesday. What do you guys think? Do you think that's a good idea? Or do you think plan B, which is what we're going to do definitely next week, because I got a commitment next Wednesday, which is to watch Hard Knocks, and as soon as it's over at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. East, we come on here and talk about the show and talk about whatever. What do you guys like? A or B? Vote in the chat, and in return, we will give you nothing but more programming. What do you think, Tooch?
Wednesdays probably gives us a little extra time to watch and digest the show.
Yeah, and I can pull highlights. Exactly.
Highlights gives a little extra time. It gives the chat room time to watch too. Maybe somebody's wasn't able to catch it Tuesday, and they can watch it, like Thursday afternoon before the show starts. So.
See, our man over at Bears Country Podcast, Thai and Smiley, says that he likes the second option. And hey, I hear that Dan Aguirre.
Dan Aguirre. So I have to ask Dan what he thinks.
Yeah, Dan.
Question.
We were talking about what we should do, not next week, because next week we've agreed that we're going to do a show immediately after Hard Knocks ends, so we can talk about it. But moving on, should we move the show to Wednesday and have the same 2.5 hour, 3 hour format on Wednesday, a day after Hard Knocks, so that we can talk about it in detail, or continue to do 9 o'clock shows?
What do you all think?
Oh, he's doing that number. What do you think?
Aldo and I were both thinking Wednesdays just because it gives us a little extra time of preparation.
I agree. I didn't want to be the selfish bastard. It was like, no, we're doing it Wednesday because I said, like I would do Tuesday if you wanted, but I would prefer to watch the show and then do it the next day so that we're not rushed.
Well, and a lot of people seem to agree. So that is, in fact, what we will do. Next Tuesday will be an hour late because we're going to watch Hard Knocks, but I do have a commitment on Wednesday, so we won't start the new schedule. But then after that, we will be on Wednesday nights, and we'll have clips from Hard Knocks, and the three of us will discuss.
So we're going to go on like right at 9, right after the show, right?
Yes, exactly. So if you are delayed somehow, I'll be on here. I can sing and dance for a few minutes while you guys jump on.
I have at the end of the month on August the 27th, which is a Tuesday, I have tickets for the Smashing Pumpkins. So that works out for me if we do it on Wednesday, and I'll have to miss a show that way.
Yep.
Wow. So in honor of that, we put that picture up, the Smashing Pumpkins couple that's getting married next week. Tooch, do you have any special words for for Dan since he's getting married next week? You want to give him some warnings?
Well, one, I'm super happy. And two, best wishes for a long and healthy, happy marriage.
Thank you.
What's the key to your marriage, Tooch? The key to happiness in your marriage?
Yeah, it's a great question. Teamwork, definitely. Sharing all the chores, deferring when you have to defer, you're right, honey. It goes a long way, Dan. You're absolutely right, honey. I was wrong. It goes a long way, and then just remember to walk by a lot and give a kiss, tell her I love you. That's goes a long way also.
I'd like to think, again, I was married once before, so I've been there. I'd like to think that the secret to our success, if it's going to be successful, will be that we have mutual respect for one another.
Yep.
And that goes a long way because I feel like I didn't have that from my previous wife.
Yeah. So I'm in big fucking trouble because I did what Tooch said.
His fucking marriage is on the rocks.
Yes, indeed.
He ain't winning no wars. Get out of here.
I've done everything that Tooch has suggested. But like, for instance, today, Donna has got us on a new diet. She's creating these fantastic tasting meals, but they're low on this or low on that and so forth, so we can lose some weight, blah, blah, blah. And so today I said, hey, I got to give you credit. You're doing a wonderful job with this new menu that we're eating. It's great. I really, really appreciate it. She goes, oh, thanks, honey. And she walked away. And then I reached over for my donut and started to eat them as she walked away. So, can I do that, Tooch, and still, do stuff behind her back?
Private Pile, is that a jelly donut?
Dan, did you ever pull that little action on your previous wife?
What is that now?
Cheating on her with like a food?
Yeah, with the donut.
I'm not a big donut fan, so.
You're taking me too literally.
Did you,
anyway,
steal the last piece of fried chicken maybe out of the fridge?
I don't like chicken.
Wow. Aldo and I, we're striking out here.
Yeah, Dan, you mad at us?
The internet broke up. I didn't hear the question.
What is Dan McGuire? What's Dan's favorite meal?
I love sushi, but I guess my favorite meal is probably like pasta, spaghetti.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I love some pasta.
Yeah.
If you're ever in Des Moines, I'm going to take you to some good Italian restaurant for some of the best pasta.
That'd be great.
What do you do in Des Moines other than watch an Iowa football game or something like that?
Man, I'll tell you.
Good restaurants?
Some good restaurants. Yeah, a lot. But I mean, it's like the pork capital of the world. So there's a lot of, barbecue spots. And it's also produced a lot of beef. So there's some good steakhouses. For fun. Nice. And there's places to go. Nearby we've got Minneapolis, Omaha, and Kansas City and Chicago are all, a day's drive or less.
Des Moines, the home of Slipknot.
Slipknot, yep. Yeah.
Ooh, you saw them recently, right, Dan?
Yeah, I saw them. Last time I saw them was in summer of 23. I've seen them like 10 or 15 times over the years.
If you like bicycling, man, it's like we have like 1,500 miles of bike paths. People bike.
And you used to have Tom and Roseanne Arnold there, I think.
Yeah, we had the Bob and Tom show was here. Like Ronald Reagan did radio here. Johnny Carson's from Iowa. It's all right. Right now, it's like my house, the chores, the honeydew list is burying me. So.
Oh gosh. Well, Dan, while you were away, we were talking about Tyson Bagent being the starter for Thursday's Hall of Fame game. I want your comments on that, but listen to Tyson Bagent talk about the weapons that he will have on Thursday.
You know, I don't think you could go wrong no matter who you throw the ball to, which is unbelievable. And I think it's similar on the defensive side. I think when we're in 7-on-7, you look on the field and everybody's got the potential to be an all-pro, in my opinion. So it's a lot of fun, a lot more options than last year, and just a lot of guys running around the field, running fast, and with a lot of skill, just like you said.
So, Dan, you know, when the 85 Bears played, I remember thinking the same thing. There's 10 out of 11 guys in the Bears defense who could be all pro, and there's probably 7 out of the 11 starters on the offense that could be Pro Bowl. You remember that, and what do you think about what Tyson said about all this talent? Do you think that, you know, this team is loaded with all pro caliber talent?
I hope so. I feel like I don't want to pound my I don't want to pound my chest yet and say yes, and then it's another typical Bears down year. So on paper, yes. And considering he's from here and from West Virginia, I'm rooting for him to play well and to solidify the backup spot. But every time I see Tyson, I'm like, God damn, that guy's got the biggest Adam's apple I've ever seen.
He's got the rocket mullet. He's got a mullet going there too.
Yes, he does.
But don't fuck with him. He'll fuck you up, man. That workout is. Did I play the workout video?
Shepherdstown, West Virginia. Is that anywhere near?
That's where he went to college. He's from Martinsburg, West Virginia.
Is that anywhere nearby you?
No, it's a complete opposite. The top part of the state. I'm at the bottom near Virginia Tech.
Okay, Martinsburg, I heard, is kind of up and coming little town there.
Someone asked where I was at in that photo. I was at a Outback Steakhouse.
Yeah, that's what they asked. Is that it looked like a blooming onion there?
I'm sure it was.
Was that?
That's Omar Barrios was the one who asked the question.
I think Aldo froze.
He's back though. You're
yeah,
back.
I froze. My internet froze. I got to pay my internet bill. Holy shit!
They're gonna turn it off during the show.
Yeah, exactly. I've had problems recently, so I got to get it checked out or pay the bill. Either one. All right. So you were at the restaurant.
All pro players. Definitely Keenan Allen, DJ Moore.
Yes. Okay. Good.
You know, Jalen Johnson and Jaquan Brisker, Montez Sweat. Those are 5 right there.
I got to take umbrage with Brisker.
Okay.
He's got to stay healthy.
All of these guys have to, right?
Yeah, but Brisker's hurt every game.
I understand.
And the fact that he's always waving his fucking fingers, that drives me crazy. You ever notice that, Aldo?
Yeah,
no, he's not matumboing it. He does he like waves.
Oh,
he's
like, this thing, yeah.
I don't know why he does that every time there's an incomplete pass. Like, dude, you just got burned for 40 yards the play before.
Yeah.
But I like him. I just feel like he has a lot to prove. To me, he's hurt every game. He might be too undersized to be a safety.
Well, we got to see some Kevin Byard play though. He's a former All-Pro.
Yeah. By the way, Dan, to your point about getting hurt, he was asked about that recently at a press conference, and he said, "It's my technique. When I screw up with my technique and I lower my head too much, that's when I'm getting hurt. And I've been working on that, and I feel like I'm going to play better. So hopefully." That is true, that it's all technique and not that he's snake bitten or not that he doesn't have the genes to play NFL football. Because I've seen a lot of promising football players, Raymond Harris, who just after a year or two of excellence just couldn't take the punishment anymore. The body just failed him. So we'll see.
What we were talking about this on Barfly Tailgate on Sunday about Roshan Johnson. I was kind of like, I haven't seen enough Roshan to really say whether he's good or not, and our Ryan Kirkham-Billings was like, we should get him into a Raymond Harris, ultra back, Anthony Thomas type role, He'd like to see Roshan in the backfield with DeAndre Swift, two back set.
Yeah, I love that idea.
That would be nice.
This is Roshan at today's press conference talking about all the firepower.
I think we just got a lot of firepower that we just got to make click. We have a lot of pieces that can do a lot of different things. So I think it's just a matter of, figuring out the things that we do best, and just kind of, rolling with it. Just making sure we play with each other with great chemistry, and just kind of going from there.
Go ahead, Dan. I cut you off.
I love the way you had that queued up too, right after we talked about it.
Sometimes I get lucky.
Super producer.
I'm sorry, Dan. I cut you off.
No, I was just going to say, I've told you before, I always wanted that with Anthony Thomas and Thomas Jones in the same backfield.
Yeah.
And now that I keep seeing that same hat, I want that hat now.
Me too.
Everybody's wearing that same hat in their presser, and it's like, goddamn, now I want that hat too.
Which hat is it again?
Play the clip. I love it. The last one.
I can't remember what hat was wearing. I didn't.
To that. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. Our guys are excited.
Wrong one. Sorry.
Bajent had that same hat on too.
I don't think you could go wrong no matter who you throw the ball to.
Have you seen those new hats for all the NFL teams? It's like they're kind of like an outrageous take on the hat or logo. So the Bears it's the Bears head logo that you see behind me, and it's like a little bit bigger on the hat, and it's turned to a 45-degree angle.
No, I haven't seen that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, like Lids has one like that, kind of like a take on each one of all 32 teams. I was at the mall. My wife and I were walking to the mall after dinner and stuff with the girls, and I stopped into Lids. I was like, "Oh, that Bears hat." But I was like, $45. Jesus Christ.
That hat that I bought, Aldo, not that I'm saying this to look at me, because I bought it for myself too. It's not like I, some generous bastard here or something. I'm just saying the hat that I bought us was $57 a hat. So yeah, hats are very, very expensive now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because there are these designer hats, so you can get your 1999 Chicago Bears old emblem hat, with the
it's going to be adjustable.
Yeah, adjustable, exactly. But you get a hat like that, like the one Dan is wearing in the photograph. For those of you people watching on audio podcast, shame on you. You should be watching on video so you can get the full effect of the show, including Dan wearing that new Bears hat that I have, courtesy of him. And it costs $60. Holy shit, man!
Tony, I didn't hear the interview with Kevin Warren today on ESPN 1000, but we did get the picture of JB Pritzker's breakfast. That's all. That's all we can do for you, Tony.
Tony, give us the highlights of what was said, and we'll share them. So just type away in the chat. I want to play a couple more clips before we get to pop culture or pop culture segment. Tooch, did I play the Tyson Bajent workout video? I'm doing a brain cramp here.
You played him talking about it, but do you have video of like him doing some of the stuff?
Oh yeah, no, I don't have the actual burpee jumping. Okay, so I did play that clip. Brain cramp here. So I want, one of the players I'm really looking forward to, I'd love to get your guys' opinions after this. Who do you want to really see excel? Besides the punter, right? Everybody wants to see the punter on Thursday. I want to see Tyson Bajent complete some passes, but I also want to see this guy return a kick.
I seen somebody talking about it. I was let's know where that's real because
that's Velus Jones, and this is when he was told about the new kickoff rule.
I seen somebody talking about it. I was let's know where that's real because that means like it's going to be way easier for us to get in great field position and definitely more kickoff returns for touchdowns for the Chicago Bears. So I found out it was real, and I was like, oh man, it was crazy. You don't have to depend on blocks as much anymore. It's really, everybody get a hat on your man, and you just a feel for it. Whatever hole open up, you hit it full speed. Definitely changed the game. Really exciting. Definitely add value to my game. I got speed, physical, got size. And so, it's tough already to bring me down, but giving me a running head start. I seen XFL before, watched some XFL film. So really curious, how teams are going to go about it and stuff like that. And I know they want to excite me back to the game because, teams – they can eliminate, a kickoff returner just by kicking it back in the end zone. And so I feel like bringing that excitement back to the game, and that's what everybody wanted to see. So pretty exciting.
So let me ask you specifically what he talked about there for your reaction, starting with you, Dan. And then I want to hear from you guys, both of you guys, who you're most expecting to look for on Thursday night's game. Somebody that you hope will have a special performance. Dan, go ahead.
I don't have a lot of confidence in Velus. It is year 3, so I'm hoping he brings it, because if he doesn't, he's going to be a casualty potentially before the season begins. I know they have high hopes with the new rules. He's got to show something. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know Velus Jones is going to earn his keep now. I just don't know. I am bewildered by the new rules. Unless I misread this, you can't do an onside kick unless you're behind, and the other team has to know it's coming, and it has to be in the fourth quarter.
Yes,
that gave the Saints a championship. If you remember, against the Colts, they started the second half with an onside kick in the Super Bowl. I think that's a terrible rule.
Yeah, I think the rule is going to need some tweaking. Dave Wannstedt on Football Night in Chicago mentioned something that he thinks is going to happen is they're just going to kick it into the end zone, and so the ball is placed on the 30 now. Big fucking deal. Why, you got to make that rule where you place the ball on the 40-yard line to really avoid people kicking it into the end zone.
What about the punts? Are they still at the 20?
Everything is still the same with the punts as far as I know.
Right.
Tooch, anything you want to remark anything at all about what Velus said, and if not, just switch over to who you're looking forward to seeing it play on Thursday.
I thought that was Mercedes Lewis. That guy was so old. Just kidding. I'm sorry, Velus. Don't come looking for me.
He is jacked. He looks like a tight end. I'll tell you that.
I know. He's like 27, Velus Jones.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't make it this year, man, I don't know.
It's over. It's Canadian Football League.
Yeah, I don't. Steven Zimmerman mentioned Reddy Stewart, who I talked about on the Barfly Tailgate show, the cornerback out of Troy. He was he was a good player. We also have another small school defensive player, that Jamry Chroma. But I'd like to see this Jacob Martin. Maybe I don't know if he's going to get that much playing time. I'd like to see what he could do. He's been hyped up. Then, of course, I want to see Austin Booker, who, has been flashing a bit in training camp and stuff. So those guys I'd like to see. I do want to see the punter, though. I can't lie. I can't deny it. But Shorty says there's another punter out there, too, on the team.
Okay, well, but there's no chance he's going to make the team after Bears invested a fourth rounder.
Corliss Waitman.
Yeah, wait, man, for your chance in another year.
Wait, man.
That made me think of former NBA player Corliss Williamson.
I remember Corliss.
He played a little bit on the Bulls too, didn't he?
I think he did.
One or two seasons.
Wasn't he like a 6'5" tweener type? Who was really fucking built. Should have played football.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey guys, I want to play this for you. It is Jonathan Owens talking about Simone Biles, who is at the Olympics game, and the permission that he sought, because he's not in camp now. He's in Paris watching his wife win gold medals. I'm going to take a piss, so you guys take it over on the other side of this.
We went to him and just asked, we really appreciate it if, he can go and support his wife. So they're really cool about it, man. It's a first-class organization. I just want to thank them so much for even allowing me to go over and do that, So I can't wait to, be able to support her. And I know my family, my wife, she really appreciates it. So.
What is it like to watch her do things that no one else in the world can do?
It's amazing. Words can't even describe it. I just think about how did I get so lucky, that this is my wife and I get to see her, just someone that's literally at the pinnacle of their sport. And, I get to call this my wife, So it's amazing. Like I said, it's no words to really describe. Just blessed.
Nerve-wracking? Is it nerve-wracking?
Absolutely. It's because you care, though, So anytime you get nervous is really a good thing because you care, So obviously it's just such a tough sport and she does things that no one else in the world can do. So, I'm always nervous and, praying for her safety and just praying for a clear head that, she can go out there and just continue to do what she does.
Yeah, what do you think, Danny?
Does he have to worry about his spot?
That's what I'm trying to say. How do you feel about the practice squad, Jonathan? Aldo. Handsome couple, but Danny and I are both kind of like, how do you feel about the practice squad, Jonathan? Right? You know?
Yeah, I hear you. That's
missed
where
a
you
little time, you know?
Oh man, it's so sad. All right. There is, let's see if there's one other thing I wanted to share with you guys. Oh, I love this. DeMarcus Walker has, I was doing this whole leadership theme thing for the Gabriel show. So I was trying to find sound bites from the guy's press conference talking about leadership. And DeMarcus Walker talked about how he is
a big character.
I'm sorry?
Is he like a big character, I thought?
Well, he's the defensive lineman who plays interior and exterior, and he talked
like a
about
big personality, though, right?
Yeah, he's going to be a hard knock star. You watch. And so he was talking about how he was, doing some trash talking with the offense. Listen to
We
this.
always hear you jawing back and forth with the offense. Did you kind of get the reaction today that you've been looking for over the past couple of years when they started jawing back a little bit?
Yes, I did. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because they're the little brother. You know what I'm saying? And then you picking on them. You want them to swing back. You know what I'm saying? So, I do that. And that's the thing about my leadership. I try to get to know the offense and special teams as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm a team leader, not just a leader. You know what I'm saying? To, being able to, get to those moments, being their brother, you know what I'm saying? And also being there, being a bully, knowing how to, get to know them. And when you're doing all that stuff, when things hit the fan, you know what type of person you're going to get out of them. You know what I'm saying? So, bullying works.
On the football field, right?
I love that. I love that. Bullying works.
He looks like a funny guy, dude.
Yeah, he does. Very, very smart clubhouse leader. And he started to play better once Montez Sweat was acquired. So maybe there's a sense of comfort by Ryan Poles to not spend money on a defensive end like Yannick Ngakoue and to go with DeMarcus Walker playing that left defensive end position for the early downs, then moving him inside and inserting Austin Booker on passing downs. What do you guys think?
I was letting Tooch take it.
I was letting Dan take it.
Oh.
It's a stumper. I stumped you guys.
I still would like to see 91 back myself, but let's see if Walker can do it. God, I hate being so negative. I'm just not certain that he can. At least he wasn't overwhelmingly impressive before, but I'm rooting for him. I'll say that.
I love your Dan mixes optimism with a sort of pessimism or jaded look at the Chicago Bears. Would you agree with that, Tooch? By the way, Tooch, how you doing on your bets? Because I can see that's what you're doing right now.
3-0 tonight. Love it.
All right. Pay the rent.
All's good.
The mortgage.
It's all good tonight. Yeah. Baseball. Every day I tell Anthony, I'm like, I hate today's board. That I'm like, I only got one or two plays, for me and him to collaborate, and I've just been, like 3-0, 2-1, 1-0, this the past 30 days. It's like up, and then
I love it.
Anthony likes his bombs. He likes the 5-unit bombs. He's been like 13-5 the past 18 of them. So,
wow, very
crazy.
Nice.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're entering
we
the last.
We haven't seen much of DeMarcus Walker over the seasons. He's been here. How long has he been here? He's been here 2
This is just his second season. Yeah, he signed a 2-year contract. Yeah.
Last season, I don't remember much about him, but what I'm thinking is that the Bears must like some of these young players. Like
Booker,
Jacob Martin. What is it? Some of these other guys like the kid from Illinois, was it Keith Randolph and
interior defensive lineman, yes.
Yep, and the Jacob Martin and some of these other guys that they've obviously Gravon Dexter and Zach Pickens, but they haven't signed anybody yet, so they must believe in these guys, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Still, they're going to have a free agent pass rusher come in the door?
What do you think, Dan?
Maybe it depends on the way the games go in the preseason, potentially. But then again, like last year, when you have a guy on the bubble that's playing really well in the preseason and you still cut him, so you never know how it's going to go. But maybe they want to see it in camp and then how the preseason goes before they push the panic button potentially to buy.
Isn't
buy
that
us
like
another
the
pass
worst
rusher.
too? It's like in the preseason, but actually we didn't. It didn't happen with Tyson Bagent where they ended up keeping him. You know, you're just like, well, all these years to go by. Man, I love this guy. He really flashed. He played his ass off, and they cut him. You know, over these years, the Bears in the past they would always cut a guy. Maybe this year you'll see some guys flash. They end up keeping a guy. But I wanted to. I know we talked about this on the Barfly Tailgate show, but to us, the offensive line is still a really big concern for the Barfly Tailgate guys. You know, it's probably the biggest concern
on this team.
On this team is the offensive line. So we had put this together while watching the things. There's some of the offensive tackles who are out there. You know, I know Dan's always says if we were to sign David Bakhtiari, it's like Packers players that come here, they always suck.
We're not bringing Charles Leno back. Not bringing Riley Reef back.
The Walrus and Riley Reef, forget
Probably
it.
not bringing Jason Peters back because he's
older
about as old as I am.
He's older than Mercedes Lewis.
Yeah.
But any of these other guys out there, Aldo, do anything for you?
Well, first of all, I will. I would bring any of these guys in for a tryout, and if they say, "Hey, I'm too established to come in for a tryout," I would say, "Well, fuck you. You're out of a job. So if you don't want to come in and try out," I mean, with the exception of Jason Peters, because Peters, he proved to the Bears 2 years ago that he could still play at a high level. And then the team that he played with last year, although he wasn't a week-to-week starter like he was with the Bears, he still proved he could play
at
Dallas,
where he was at last year.
I think it
was on the Commanders, wasn't he?
Oh, I thought he was in Dallas. My bad.
Yeah, help me out, GTA2K. I know you know, but all of these guys, I wouldn't mind taking a look at, and I would not object at all if Charles Leno came in and looked good in a tryout. I would not object at all. I think
you're a closet Charles Leno fan, Aldo.
I truly am. I truly am.
You always have been.
He was a 7th round draft pick, and he comes here and he starts more games at left tackles since the days of the '85 Bears when we had Dennis Lake and those guys playing. You know, the guy was solid. I think sometimes we're too tough on our offensive linemen. We always want better. And yeah, I do too. But the fact is that the Bears offensive line typically ranks in the middle of the league, a little below average, a little above average in that area. And Charles Leno, I think, is a perfect example of that. Do I want it to be better? Absolutely. I still believe that the game is won at the line of scrimmage.
I think the Leno part, we all kind of thought that the 19 Bears were going to be Super Bowl contenders, and Leno was decent in 18, and the Bears won the division. He proposed on the field. I think we all thought that Leno was going to take a step forward in 19, and he was so bad in 19 that no one could forgive him for it.
Yeah,
I think that's the main thing. Is he had his worst season ever in 19, and we needed him to be much better.
You're absolutely right.
He just got married. He was nutting every night, Dan.
He just got married. I think he had a kid by sometime in the middle of that season and so forth. I think there was a lot going on in his personal life, and that happens with a lot of NFL football players who it's none of our business what's going on in their personal lives. But if we did know, we could probably say, I can understand why there was some,
Aldo, do you think once Dan gets married, it's going to affect his radio game?
That's going to be good. You've won, 5 out of the last 6 years?
Justin and I were beaten this year. So
what?
Really?
Yeah, we lost. And Justin's not with us this season. So, but a guy that I worked with years ago, but not doing the show, named Joey's coming back, and he and I hopefully will have good chemistry. I feel like I could win it by myself because I have a bunch of times.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the show's a lot better, I think, at least for me, in terms of having fun if I have somebody there with me. So I'm looking forward to doing it with my guy Joey.
Wow, man, I am shocked. I'm shocked that you didn't share that information with me, because I follow your professional career like it's like a reality TV
Sorry,
show.
it was recent. It was recent. It wasn't like I was hiding from it. I don't know. We just didn't talk about it. Yeah, but we just didn't win. Justin may be there in Cincinnati. You may meet him. He's a fan of yours. He's been on the show once or twice.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to meet him.
He may be there. He says he probably will be, and he is a fan of both of you all. So
yeah, I like Justin. He's cool.
Yeah,
good guy. Do you foresee the possibility that your work here at the Barroom Network, your work as a broadcaster, professional broadcaster, could be affected by the fact that you are getting married?
There's no difference. I mean, we've been living together. I mean, the only difference is I'll be wearing the ring, and like financially, we'll be linked together on taxes and stuff like that. But beyond that, we're essentially married already.
I'm going to ask the chat room to vote on this and ask them, do you think that I won't do that. I don't want to do that. All right, there's one more clip I want to play for you guys before we start talking about pop culture. And let's see. Jonathan, did I play the Jonathan Owens Simone Biles?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm having short-term memory issues.
we were kind of like, how's the practice squad sound this season, Jonathan?
That's right. Okay, here's the clip. I want your guys' reaction to the media asking this question. I think it's Mark Potash. I think the question is here, and it sounded like Eberflus took a little offense.
Early last year, you guys had lost 14 in a row. Things weren't good for you or for around the city.
What do they call you?
No, it's Patrick Finley, Chicago Sun-Times.
Early last year, you guys had lost 14 in a row. Things weren't good for you or for around the city.
What do they call you? That's Debbie Downer question.
No.
He's trying to set me up.
I'll get there. Do you have an appreciation?
Was that Saturday Night Live that said that? Yeah. Oh, we got reruns. We'll put Pat's face on it right there. Show videos.
Do you have an appreciation for how far things have come since week 4 you lose that heartbreaker at home against the Broncos? Some people are calling for your head. Some people are saying the team's not very good. Now, I mean, you've got this optimism, and it's only been.
Yeah, I believe this, and this is going to be. I always say this every single year. Every team is different, right? You're at a different.
All right, forget the rest of the response. But what I want to know from you guys: do you think that was an offensive question, or do you think that was fair game, given that there wasn't anything inaccurate about the question? Tooch, you first.
Well, I was trying to recover from the fact that we lost 14 in a row that season. I was like, I had forgotten about that, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fucking Finley.
Remember we were doing all those shows back then, and we're like, when are they going to ever win a game? Jesus.
Oh, my gosh.
I'll
never forget that.
I think every week Dan and I were like, we were asking Dan Aguirre, when was the last time the Bears lost 11 in a row?
Indeed.
But no, I mean, come on, when you bring up something like that, it's a little offensive, I guess. I can understand why he took umbrage with the question a little bit. But man, this new Eberflus with the new look, he's like a hard ass now.
How about it? All right, Dan, what do you think? Do you think that?
I think it's a fair question. I thought it was a fair question because it's sort of set up just to juxtapose where they were when they had that 28-7 collapse with Denver. The game I was at with Sylvester. And to say, like, look how far you've come now. So it's not like he was just wallowing in the negativity. He was focusing on the dichotomy between where they were last October and right now with optimism. So I thought it was a fair question the way he set it up. And honestly, I thought Flus's answer was kind of fun to reference, albeit Debbie Downers from 1985, but so are most of the Bears references. So
that's right.
I think it's I thought everybody was good.
I agree with you, Dan. I agree. I think it was a legitimate question. I probably would have phrased it a little differently because it did sound a little harsh, reminding the guy about the low losing streak and that he was close to being fired, at least in the eyes of the fans.
Yeah.
I would have phrased it a little differently, but I thought the question was fair, and I thought Eberflus handled it really, really well, and I'm so proud of him. He is so much more comfortable behind the podium. He seems to be himself. That's probably the guy you would get, if you're having dinner with him or having a beer with him and so forth, as opposed to the insurance salesman from a year or two ago. So let's close our Bears talk off now. I want to hear from you guys about what have you been watching? What do you like? What do you want us to stay away from because you hate it? Dan, I'll start with you. What's I know you've been watching the Pete Rose documentary and you recommend it, huh?
Hey, that was your recommendation to me. I didn't know about it at all. And it's 4 parts, so it's roughly 4 hours. I've watched the first 3. And as a kid, again, that grew up as a Reds fan, I mean, almost as much as the Bears. Like the Reds meant everything to me, and like I spent a lot of time at Riverfront. Not a lot of time, but still, I mean, I was at Riverfront Stadium a lot in my youth. It feels like so. I have a special when I watch that. It makes me feel like like a kid again, and I remember all those details. Now, not the '70s, and not even Pete winning with the Phillies, but from his player manager days on. That's my run. So. And I always have such a special fondness for the 1990 World Series team. So they referenced that at the end of the 3rd episode. And basically, Pete was like, yeah, that's my fucking team that won the championship there. Lou Piniella coached my team to win the World Series. And I always kind of wanted to know Pete's thoughts on that. Maybe they'll expand on it further in the 4th episode.
There's 4 episodes, right?
Yeah, I've only gotten to watch 3 and so far. Maybe I'll get the 4th one tonight at work, but some of it's dark. Like I didn't know. I guess where I have a fondness for Pete, I don't look for the dark stories, but there's some allegations against him with statutory rape and things like that when he was a player, which again would be 50 years ago, as Pete put it, but still it sounds and looks bad. But as I told you before we got on the air, Michael Jordan had a lot of gambling allegations to the point where people think that he was suspended when he went to play for the Birmingham Bruins. And some people have intimated that maybe his dad was killed as a result of his debts. And all this stuff could be completely out there and just erroneous bullshit. But anyway, my point is, you wouldn't say that the best basketball player of all time couldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Well, Pete Rose is the best hitter of all time in terms of the most hits.
Yep.
Statistically. And, he deserves a place in the Hall of Fame, whether you like him or not. And like he said in there, he's like, don't compare me to shoeless Joe Jackson. He's like, the guy threw the World Series and was okay with losing. He's like, there's nothing about my DNA that's okay with losing. He's like, I never bet against us. I bet for us. And considering now that all sports, collegiate included, they're promoting gambling sites on the fucking games.
It's ironic, isn't it?
Yeah, so you can't. Okay, you know how sometimes back in the day, like you got arrested for pot or something, and then the laws change, and then they let people out that, hey, this guy was arrested in '72 for smuggling weed, but now it's legal, so they expunge their record. That's what needs to happen for Pete here. Yeah, Pete gambled in the '80s. The fucking '80s, and now all the leagues are like in bed with gambling. It's time to let him, like he says in the documentary, please put me in before I die.
I'm dying to watch this, and I know that Dan has been a Cincinnati Reds fan for a good portion of his life.
I quit in 14 when Dusty got forced out. So yeah.
So I wanted to talk with him intelligently about this, but I haven't had a chance to see it. But I definitely want to see this. I will say one thing. I think Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and the gambling thing, fuck that. But the sexual allegation, now there is in my mind, I know legally there is, but in my mind there is no statute of limitations on a sex crime, and so that is something that you can't forgive him for. But if you're one of the Baseball Hall of Fame writers, and you're going to say I'm not going to put Pete Rose into the Hall of Fame because of a sex crime, then you need to shut the fuck up because you're being a hypocrite. There are lots of players in any Hall of Fame for any sport who have committed sex crimes, and you fucking guys who voted those guys in knew about it. So if you're going to start to stand on a high horse now with Pete Rose, you're wrong. You shouldn't do that. But personally, I can separate that for Hall of Fame, because what you're voting on is not who is the nicest guy. You're voting on who played tremendously on the football field, baseball diamond, et cetera, et cetera. So I definitely believe that Pete Rose should be in. Tooch, your thoughts?
Definitely should be in. I'll tell you, I was 7 years old in 1975. And I used to put the Big Red Machine, all their baseball cards, like around like in a diamond and all their positions.
Cool.
You know, when I was a kid, I loved Pete Rose. Man. I was like, yep, Johnny Bench, Dave Concepcion, Cesar Geronimo, all of them, man. I had a Johnny Bench batter up. I wonder if people know what that thing was. It was like,
remind me.
Remember, it was like my dad had to put this pole in a little cement like disc.
Okay.
And then it had an arm with a plastic baseball on the end of it, and a big rubber band that would go around, and that would come around. You just whack it, and it'd go around again, and come around. You practiced your batting swing. It was called the Johnny Bench batter up. You probably look it up. I would hit that thing for hours after dinner, just whack, you know. And,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I love the Big Red Machine, man. I was like 7 years old. That was the team. You know, they were all over the place. They were on every Wheaties box. You know, but yeah, definitely should be in. Where is that? Is that Netflix?
HBO.
Yeah, it's on HBO. Yes. So let's take a look at all 4 episodes. Let's try to squeeze in all 4 episodes so we can talk to Dan about that next Wednesday, next Tuesday, along with Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Tooch, what have you seen? And we'll get back to you, Dan, to get some more recommendations from you. But Tooch, what have you seen that you might want to share with people?
I know. Now I was on the road, so not a lot. But I watched. God, what is the name of that movie? It's called.
What is it about?
It's called Sleeping Dogs with Russell Crowe. It's a noir.
Oh, yeah.
I got to tell you, I mean, for a B movie, it was really good. You know, and Russell Crowe's this policeman who was drunk driving. He lost his memory. So he doesn't remember this case that happened a long time ago that's resurfaced, and he feels like he has to reopen it or reinvestigate it.
Sleeping Dogs? It's on Hulu? Yeah, okay.
It's on Hulu, yep.
All right.
Yep. And it's kind of told like a noir, you know, you get some viewpoints from the guy who was first murdered, then there's a second murder. And then, you know, you get the viewpoints of all these different characters. And meanwhile, you've got a character with an unreliable memory.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he doesn't know, he doesn't remember. He's like, "Who are you again? Can you remind me of like how we know each other?" You know, because he had like a brain surgery. You know, he's got a big like patch on his head, all of his hair is shaved off, and everything. It's got a good cast. But I mean, I watched it. I enjoyed it because it's got a big twist at the end, though. I don't want to say any more though. But for a B movie, I thought it was pretty good. It's kind of like a movie that a Dan Aguirre and an Aldo would like.
Well, definitely going to put that on the list. Dan, what else you got?
I told you about this in texting. You didn't react to it, so I'm going to force you to react to it now.
Okay.
Nikki and I watched a movie that we were both like, wow, okay, wow. Like the whole, like it had all these like swerves to it. At one point you thought there was like 3 different people that would be the quote unquote killer. You didn't know who the killer was. And it just
I love those kind of movies.
It kept making us guess, and every time we were wrong.
Nice. I love these. Yeah.
James Belushi, the lady from The Sopranos, she was in The Sopranos and Goodfellas, Lorraine Bracco.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called Traces of Red. It was a neo-noir film from 92, and it was so good.
Yeah,
if this had been marketed properly, this could have been a hit. According to Wikipedia, it was a huge hit on the VHS rental market after it came on tape.
Wow.
But the theater didn't have a good run because no one gave a shit about it when they were marketing it. It was a really good film. Like I'm not kidding. Like if the system is four stars, is that what some people go by 5?
Right. So let's say 4 stars.
I'm giving it 3.5. Like that's how good it was.
Excellent.
Okay, let's take a look at the trailer. Stand by. Here it comes.
A cop.
Was it the honors? Pleasure.
His lover.
Women find dating.
Tony Goldman's in it too, by the way.
His partner.
Tony Goldwyn.
I know.
A murder.
A woman was killed and Jack's been getting death threats.
Someone he knows.
Look at that. Sealed with a kiss.
Is killing everyone he knows.
Whoever killed Kimberly Davis killed Morgan too.
Which one is the killer?
These are the clothes they got killed in. I swear to God, I don't know how they got here.
Don't underestimate me.
Who is the next victim?
After you see me?
I could have blown your brains out.
When a murder case is this shocking,
Any fingerprints?
Mm-hmm. Yours and Jack.
you can't trust the evidence.
Don't start asking me about my experiences. You could become one of them.
You can't trust your partner.
I wanted to corrupt you.
You just put your marriage in jeopardy and maybe even your life.
And you can't even trust yourself.
You know I really wanted you to stop. Jack!
Traces of red.
Good trailer. Fucking
It was
good
an
trailer.
excellent film. Excellent film. It was so much more than I anticipated.
I got to tell you, I'm not a big Belushi fan. John Belushi, yes. James Belushi,
I like Jim. I like Jim a lot.
You know, I think it was Dan recommended that movie with Sean Penn and Gary Oldman.
Oh yeah,
which I had
great.
not-
Did you watch it?
I watched it. I really enjoyed it too.
Yeah,
But I
that
don't
was
remember what
great.
was the name of it. I can't remember the name of it. But
It's from 1990, though. I
yeah.
can't remember the name of it either. It came out the same week as Goodfellas.
State of Grace.
Yes, great film. It's like, how did I miss
Yeah,
that?
it's like Gary Oldman was a wild man in that.
Yeah, it was so good. It was so
Gary Oldman, I think, is an
One of the best
underappreciated
actors. Oh,
actor. Yeah, he
so
is
good.
one of the best. He has
Yeah,
done
a
so
natural.
many.
Yeah.
Yes, he really, he's one of those actors that he's not the same character movie to movie to movie.
Yeah.
He really transforms himself.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go through his filmography and talk about, how he cut his hair for this or how he did an accent for that or whatever. And every movie that he's in, he does not fucking disappoint.
I loved
does
him
not.
as the pimp in True Romance.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
He had dreadlocks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. A Quentin Tarantino script.
Tony
and
Scott did the directing.
Tony
I think?
Scott. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Anything else, Dan Aguirre? Because I know we only got a few minutes with you that you saw that you hated or liked.
I think that's about it right now. I've been busy, so I haven't watched a lot of
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah, me
I
too.
bet. Did you hear
I haven't
Tooch
watched
that?
Slow Horses too, but that's Gary Oldman as well, a series.
Yeah, I have not. I haven't even heard of it, so I'll look for it.
Hey, did you all hear the Dexter news?
No, what happened?
Okay, two things are happening. This fall, they're doing a prequel series where Christian Slater plays his dad in 1991. And
Whoa!
then Michael C. Hall announced that they're going to say he didn't die in Dexter New Blood, and it's called Dexter Resurrection, I think. And it's not a limited series. It's going to be just brought back, period. And it's coming back in 2025.
Wow.
I'm not sure I like that idea. I
Well-
hate it when they kill off a character and all of a sudden, we were just kidding. I don't know.
Well, he's
We'll-
supposed
we'll
to be
see how
doing
they
voice. He's supposed to be doing voiceover work for the prequel as well, but then he announced he's doing the show, and it's a full-time gig, not a limited run like Dexter New Blood was.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big Dexter fan, so whatever they do, I will be watching. I hope it's great, but usually, when script writers and producers use that technique, oh, it was all a dream, or we were just kidding, he's resurrected and stuff. It's like, come on, do better,
I'm gonna like it though, honestly, and Euphoria, they're gonna start filming season 3 in January.
Damn, but what's his name is dead. The actor.
Yeah, the real actor who played one of the roles in
his name?
Euphoria.
What was the name of the?
Yeah, he played
Angus something.
Angus
was the actor.
Cloud.
Angus Cloud was the actor, but what was
Yeah,
his
he
character?
played Fesco, and his
Fesco.
brother Ashtray was killed in season 2.
Right.
So yeah, their characters are just completely gone. I guess they could say that Fesco died in the shootout too, or in prison
Yeah.
or something.
Anything else, Dan?
I think that's it. I still look forward to Yellow Jacket season 3. I don't know when that's going to drop yet.
I don't know either, and I'm dying to know how they handled the death of one of the major characters.
Yeah, Juliette Lewis.
Okay, I didn't want to say the spoiler, but you just.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. But that is really, and you know what? I'll say it again. I said it 2 or 3 times before on this show. Yellow Jacket started out in a way that I was like, I don't know, man. This theme song I don't like. I'm not sure I like the characters. By the middle of season 1, I was addicted to the theme song. I have it on my iPhone.
It's Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, it's Alanis Morissette. And I love the storyline. I love every character. So when a major character was killed off this past season, I was so fucking upset. But I'm so looking forward to season 3. Whenever it drops, I'll be there. Absolutely.
Well, guys, I got to go, though. I'm sorry that that I had to kind of leave in the middle of the show and come back. That was work. But so we'll be back next Wednesday, right?
We'll be back next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. your time. We will talk about Hard Knocks, and we'll go as long as we can.
Wednesday or Tuesday?
No, we're back next Tuesday. I'm sorry.
The Wednesday starts the week after, right?
Yes, correct. Because I got to come.
And I'll get to see you next Wednesday, actually, or at least Thursday.
That's right. That's why we're not doing a show next Wednesday, because I'm flying to Cincinnati.
Well, that whole marriage thing. That's
right.
Yeah, don't forget about that.
Yeah. All right, guys, it was fun. I'm sorry I got to go, but I got to go.
Love you, Dan. Get out of here.
Both of you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Are you all caught up on House of the Dragon now?
I am, Tooch, and I got to tell you,
Isn't it awesome?
I believe that it is starting to overtake Game of
Oh
Thrones.
yeah, it overtook Game of Thrones a long time ago.
Yeah,
it's just like it's so tighter.
Yes,
the other one was so loose. This one is like tightly.
I agree. I totally agree. Movies and TV shows need to be tight in order to maintain interest. You start introducing character after character, subplot after subplot, and so forth. Yeah. You get tired of that. At least I do.
Yeah.
And so
I like Game of Thrones. Don't get me going. I mean,
absolutely,
it was messy. Let's not beat around the bush. It was messy. It had a messy ending.
Yep. Bye, Nikki. We'll see you next week.
Bye,
Love
Nikki.
you. Bye-bye. I agree. It gets messy and it starts to become difficult. If you're going to do a multi-plot, multi-character thing like that, I think that opening sequence where previously on Game of Thrones, I think that needs to be 4 minutes long. That would help me, and I bet you millions of other viewers. But to get back to the current show, my God, that opening image of the 2 dragons facing each other and the 2 characters then talking about what was going on. I won't divulge too much for those people who haven't seen that latest episode, but that was cinematic. That was like captured my imagination. I love that image, and I love the dialogue that preceded it. It was just beautifully done, Tooch.
Yeah, I like I love the characters in this. I like the struggle of Rhaenyra, the 2, Queen Alicent and Rhaenyra. They're both
good stuff.
They're both 2 women trying to keep it all together. And remember I was talking last week about how the pressure was so much for Rhaenyra and Mysaria that they had to make out. When the stress gets too great, women go lesbo.
I love it. Love it. No, nobody loves lesbo action more than me.
But yeah, so I wanted to ask you though, do you think King Aegon forgot what happened to him with his brother, or does he remember? Is he just lying?
I got a feeling he forgot.
You think?
Yeah.
I was like,
I
you
may be right.
Man. Don't kill me in my sleep. Right?
You may be right.
I don't know.
Yeah. But there's just one episode left for this season, and I'm so looking forward to it. And I'm one of the problems, the challenges of producing a series of movie quality is that it takes a year or 2 to do that. So we may not see season 3 until late 2025 or 2026.
Yeah.
So that's the only problem with that.
How long was there between these?
I think it was 18 months.
Yeah. Okay. It's such a high quality production that you could be a little forgiving there, but it doesn't matter though. I mean, it's still you want it to be over, you want to digest it,
Yeah, I do agree with J2K here from a plot standpoint, scriptwriter's standpoint, that he says, I like the season, but the girl on girl was out of left field. There's no buildup. Yeah, I'm watching it with my wife, and she's like appalled. Wait a minute, where'd this come from? What is going on?
The stress got to them. They went lesbo, Donna.
I wish I would have thought of saying that to her. You know all about stress, Donna. Not the
it's
captain.
good. Well, I'd also thought that Damon was talking to a ghost the whole time with that.
Yes, my wife asked me about that.
I guess she's not a ghost because she went to the other one and killed the old man at River Run. She went to kill, and now that kid was up. The kid turned out to be a badass, huh? The young what was his name? Oscar.
He looks like, oh my goodness.
He was like, you have to pay. As much as I loathe my king.
Yes.
it's like, all right, kid, don't push it.
That to me was the best scene of the season.
That was a great scene. I thought Damon was going to chop someone's head off.
No shit. Well, he did, didn't he?
He chopped off his arm, his sword hand. Okay. I thought he chopped his arm off.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I love that scene, and the way that kid stood up to Damien was fantastic. Really, really good.
Yeah, and then all the those two guys who we'd followed, you're like, who the hell are these two guys for the whole season? The one guy whose daughter he couldn't keep alive, she starved to death.
Right.
And then the other guy who's a drunk in the bar was saying, I've got the blood of Targaryen in my King Jaehaerys. I'm one of his bastards, And they both end up getting their dragons.
Yes.
Which is wild, it was great.
Yeah. Do you think that this season is better because there is more emphasis on the dragons, and the dragons are so fucking phenomenal? I mean, they deserve Emmy Awards.
Yep. Yeah, the special effects are fantastic with those dragons.
They really
They really look real, and then the guys who keep the dragons in the dragon pit, the trainers or whatever you want, zookeepers, whatever, they're like, we're not going to do this anymore. Dragons are the last magic of old Valyria, they're walking out. I can't believe Rhaenyra was just like, whatever, dudes, kind of like, you're not leaving. I'm the fucking queen.
I'm surprised by that. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
but for those people who haven't been watching House of Dragons, there are these multiple dragons that belong to the different tribes, so to speak. Yeah. And it's important. It's like a nuclear, like John said a couple of episodes ago, the dragons symbolically are nuclear weapons. Yep. And so one of the queens is having difficulty finding a rider for her dragon.
She had two without riders. One of them was the second largest dragon.
Yes.
That the guy whose daughter starved is riding now, the biggest one.
And the scenes where she's basically doing a job interview.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck. Don't get burned to death.
That's right. That was classic. Right? I have set it up. It's up to the dragons now.
It's like, I wish you all the best of luck.
That was outstanding, man.
You could die. I wish you all the best of luck.
Right. And it's just done so fucking well.
Yeah, it's excellent.
It's a good binge for anyone. And Tooch, I don't feel like you have to have watched Game of Thrones to enjoy House of Dragons, right?
Yep.
So if you're not interested in going in through 7-8 seasons of House of Game of Thrones and just want to jump into the last 2 seasons of House of Dragons, I think you will be rewarded if you if you like good storytelling, because this is really excellent multi-layered storytelling, but it doesn't get confusing.
It's tight. Yeah. I think, you could walk into it without having seen the other series at all and just read a little bit about how the Targaryens came from this other continent on their dragons. They conquered the current continent, and they've been reigning there because they had dragons this whole time, and you're kind of, you're peeking into something that happened hundreds of years before Game of Thrones of the reign of a couple kings, during that, during the time of this show. So
yeah, it's I've gone to the HBO website and they've got this really cool interactive graphic that's basically the tree of all the Game of Thrones, House of Dragons characters, and then you click on the character and they give you some backstory and stuff. That was very helpful for me to further enjoy the series. I don't have to do that to appreciate the storytelling, but there is a lot. There's richness in this. Yeah. There's the character depth and so forth. I imagine that the fanatics, the people who really get into this stuff will be delving into character analysis, plot analysis for decades, because it's really deep stuff. Good stuff.
I'm sure they're enjoying it. Yeah, for sure.
Tooch, you seen anything else you want to share with the audience?
Not really, No, I mean, I've been so busy, Aldo. Between travel, I didn't watch nothing. I was the whole weekend. Just came home on Sunday, and when I drove home on Sunday, because we left that Fest of Santa Liberato, St. Rosalie Church in Harwood Heights. It's like Montrose and Oak Park Avenue, so northwest side. And my Uncle Lee was a janitor there, and they had the big thing. So I stayed. I was visiting with all my relatives and stuff I hadn't seen in a long time, and we probably left about 3:30. It's about a 6-hour drive. And I'm driving. There was like 5 rainstorms I drove through. I could not see anything. And I'm like,
wow.
For a public service announcement, like, put your flashers on,
please,
so other cars can see you. I'm like, I'm driving by this little old lady. She got no lights on and nothing. I'm like, I'm lucky I saw you at the last minute,
Oh my God.
Then there's like the trucks. They can see like a lot better than you through the rain. And like one of them out on my ass and then going around me. I'm like, holy shit, But, it's so bad you can't see anything at all. It's like, slow down to like 45 miles an hour. I can't see the lines,
Yeah.
So it's tough.
I mentioned that my daughter got married Friday, and, just as they're closing the reception down and so forth, 5 minutes, I run over to the bar and say, give me one more shot. So I sit there and I'm sipping on my whiskey, and my wife walks over to me and says, Really? You got yourself another shot of whiskey just before you're supposed to drive from Carpentersville to Arlington Heights, which is a lot of dark roads with with trees on the left side, trees on the right side, no lights and stuff. Really? Is that what you did? I said, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I'm an experienced driver, but I do have a couple of things that I want to share with you, Tooch, that I will encourage you to watch. Just an old movie that I recently watched again. TMC has been playing all these great old movies. The last
I see you post about them sometimes too on X.
I want to do a whole show on some of this old film noir stuff because I love that stuff.
Mike Nolte loves those too.
Yeah, he does too. But a neo-noir, which is 1970s plus years where they adopt a lot of the same techniques. The Last Detail with Jack Nicholson. Have you seen that?
Yeah, that's been a long time though.
Yeah. Well, please rewatch it because it's the same thing with me. I saw it like 20, 30 years ago, and I recently rewatched it, and my appreciation for it just shot up. Jack Nicholson in that movie delivers
his
a
best
clinic.
Performance, huh?
It's really, I don't know if it's his best because he followed that up with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which is regarded as probably his greatest, and The Shining was great, and blah, blah, blah. But The Last Detail, even from a story standpoint, and Randy Quaid plays this soldier who was busted for a simple robbery, but because it was the colonel's wife's blah, 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 they sentenced him to 8 years in jail. And Jack Nicholson and another MP are supposed to take him from one city to about 800 miles away to go to penitentiary. And Jack Nicholson decides, much like the Cuckoo's Nest character, we're going to have some fucking fun before you get locked up and so forth. So he takes some drinking, they get into trouble, blah, blah, blah. It's just a really, really good story. It's a little meditative.
Who was the other soldier with Nicholson?
It's a guy named, I think his name is Otis Young, and I delved into his background because I'm thinking to myself, this guy was in this movie, his career should have taken off, but it didn't. He's an African American guy, and for whatever reason his career didn't take off, but he was excellent in the movie. Randy Quaid, Otis Young, and I apologize if I'm getting the name wrong, and Jack Nicholson in The Last Detail. Highly recommended.
Right.
And then Tooch, also a few other things from a television standpoint. Have you seen, I think it's on Netflix, the Ashley Madison Sex Lives and Scandal limited series?
No.
Are you familiar with Ashley Madison?
No, I don't know this.
Ooh, okay. I would.
My wife would probably love this, though. She loves.
I would have thought you would have been a member. No, just kidding. Ashley Madison was a website.
It sounds familiar. Yeah.
It was big in the news.
Like a porn website?
Well, no, it's a dating site for married people.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to get something on the side, you want to maintain your marriage, but you want to get something on the side. Ashley Madison was a place that you would go to. It would hook you up with another married person who didn't want to have a committed relationship, just want to fuck. Yeah, exactly.
Swingers, yeah.
Exactly. And so it was very, very popular. But what happened was that there was a data breach. Oh my God. So if you were a member, all of a sudden your name is splattered all over social media. There's Johnny Santucci. Wait a minute. Is that my Johnny Santucci? No, it's some other Johnny Santucci. But it's a great document. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. I bet your wife would like it because then she will be checking your history.
There's the Last Detail, but did you ever see a movie called The Last Duel? It's like Keith Carradine and Harvey Keitel.
Keith Carradine, what a cast!
And Harvey Keitel, and they have all they're like rival officers in the French army.
Oh,
you know this movie?
This movie, I'm pretty sure this movie played at the Chicago International Film Festival.
Over the years, they fuck with each other. He's always fucking with Keith Carradine, Harvey Keitel.
Yeah, this is a movie.
He always wants to fight him.
The late 70s, right?
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but I distinctly remembered the preview playing at the Chicago International Film Festival, and
great movie.
I was there.
I forget who the director was, but
isn't it like one of the Scotts, like Ridley Scott or somebody like that?
I think it was Ridley Scott.
Yeah, that movie. Just the preview was indelible. I've never forgotten it.
He kind of revisited it with that movie with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. And Adam Driver.
Mm-hmm.
What was that one called? Maybe it was The Last Duel.
Yeah, I don't know. Anybody know in the chat? Help us out here. But by the way, everyone that you just mentioned, all those actors are actors that I will see just about anything that's.
Yeah, it's called The Duelists.
The Duelists. There he goes. Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott. Yep.
Yes.
Classic. If you haven't seen that movie, man, it's so good.
I definitely want to see that.
We gotta see that one again, yeah.
Where did you see it? What service? Do you recall?
I don't recall. See, I have like with real streams, I have like every movie I could just watch, but
how cool is that?
Yeah.
There's a few services that we still have
see
not.
where it is right now, where you can watch it right now. Sometimes I'll show you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can see it on Prime. The Duelist by Ridley Scott. It's like Harvey Keitel. He always wants to fight Keith Carradine in this thing, man. No matter what, swords, pistols. Throughout the years, they're rivals. One of them gets wounded. He's like infirmed for like years with the bullet wound and stuff. It's great, man. It's classic. But then The Last Duel, he revisited it again with Matt Damon and Adam Driver. Where they're fighting all these years as rivals. Revisited the theme.
Well, my last recommendation is I forgot what it was HBO Max that I saw. I think it's also available on Prime, but it's called Fallen Idols, Nick and Aaron Carter. Do you know who those kids are?
Yeah, they're what they like child pop stars?
Exactly. Yeah. I think Aaron or Nick, I forget who was who, but one of them was with one of the boy band groups and then went off on his own. And then the other one was a younger brother who had the pressure of, following in his brother's footsteps. And this is a documentary about sexual allegations and so forth. Yeah. Your wife might be interested in it. If your wife is like mine, it sounds like she is. Yep. Does she like Dateline episodes?
Yeah, she loves that stuff. She loves that. What is that? Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
Yeah, she loves
My
that
wife
stuff.
is like 24/7. If she had the TV remote for 24/7, that's all I would be watching.
My mom and my wife, they both love that stuff.
I get mad at them. I get mad at my wife because I'm like,
We did
"Are
watch that. What was that? Back in Black, the
Yes.
Amy Winehouse story. Really good. I
Diana
forgot
Dwyer.
that
Diana
album
Dwyer
is
saw that.
fantastic. The album is
Yeah.
awesome. If you haven't heard the album, man, like every song in it's good.
I want to. I love the song, her pop biggest
Yeah.
hit,
Yep.
Rehab.
Rehab.
Everyone wants me to go to Rehab, and so I've loved her voice and I love her look, but I never really got into her music. Never had a chance to, and I want to
Yeah.
see this documentary to learn more about her because it was a tragic death. And by the way, Mr. Mayhem says Aaron Carter is dead. Yeah, one of the two brothers killed himself because of all the fuck. And I'm
All the
telling
pressure,
you, Tooch,
huh?
this is fascinating because they have so much footage, because these kids would put everything on social media and stuff.
Yep.
So they got video up the ass, and
Wow.
it really presents a great portrait.
Nick and Aaron Carter.
Yeah, officially it's called Fallen Idols,
Fallen Idols.
Nick and
Oh.
Aaron Carter. It's on Max
Yeah,
and on Prime.
Netflix. Okay, yeah, Netflix does a lot of shows like that with those.
Yes, they do.
The docudramas. Pop stars and idols and lives of the rich and famous.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mentioned to you many shows ago about this show called Love is Blind, and you said, "Yeah, Have you seen any of them?
No, I haven't. I keep forgetting about it. Love is Blind.
I gotta tell you, man, I feel good for you because you've got your pick of many seasons to watch. And you don't have to watch a previous season, and there are seasons from different countries.
Oh wow!
And I recently watched Love is Blind Brazil, and there is a plot twist on that is just fucking unbelievable. My God, when I saw
Where do I watch Love is Blind?
those are on Netflix. All
Okay.
of them are on Netflix.
It's a lot of seasons, huh?
Oh, well, 6 US, 3 Brazil,
Wow.
2 this country, blah, blah, blah. So you got tons
I'm
of
sure
stuff.
my wife knows. She probably knows this one already.
I bet she does. Because it's been very popular with a lot of women and guys like me and Howard Stern who love to watch The Bachelor and shit like that.
Well, Barroom, we're about to get really busy here in a bit. We got all the shows returning from hiatus.
Yes.
With the Bears season beginning, got Fantasy Football Goon. I got my shirt.
Oh, look at that. I love it.
Show I do with my radio son, Joe Mandel.
Nice. I love it. Very nice. So the debut of that show is coming up, I believe, on a Monday night, or some night during the week. And Joe and I have to work that out.
We have
we'll announce that soon.
Barroom Fantasy Draft, which we broadcast live usually.
Yeah.
With
Very
all
good.
the personalities, and Barfly Tailgate Show came back last week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're working on something, John. I don't even think you know about this. We're working on something of creating a fantasy football league with a number of the podcasters,
wow.
It's a 10-team league and so forth. And so we've got commitments from 6 other podcasters.
Wow.
The bar room is the 7th, and so we're looking for 3 more. And if we don't find 3 more, then we'll divvy it up, like have Fantasy Football Goon have their own show team, and Dan and Aldo have something like that. We'll come up with something.
Yeah, nice.
And so we'll be covering that league here at the Barroom Network. When you want fantasy football information, I want you to think of the Barroom Network. I want you to think about Johnny Santucci and Joe Mandel and Adam Schaum, 3 of the best in the
Always
business.
giving them out. Steven Zimmerman, he's on there too.
Awesome.
Time to time, and maybe regularly. I don't know. I haven't talked to Joe or.
I'd love it. I'd love to see him on regularly.
Oh yeah, he's good. Steven Zim.
Mm-hmm. Okay, J2K, please do. I think we got a commitment from BCP, but I'd have to double check. I've with the sweating stuff, I've been super busy, but plan to get on it this week. Anything else? Mr. Mayhem says a great show, and I have to agree with you, Mr.
Thanks,
Mayhem.
Mr. Mayhem. Thank you.
I think Johnny Santucci was especially great tonight, and as for me, I'm still working on my game.
What would you say you do here?
Oh no. What is it, Aldo?
You got to put that in the top 10 lines in movie history,
That's
right?
the best. Yeah. The guy's he's like, I'm good with people. I'm telling you, I'm good with people.
That's right.
That's such a great scene.
I'll be back. What exactly do you do here?
Yeah, what would you say it is you do here?
Exactly.
That's just a classic movie, man.
And I just want to tell people who are watching live or if you're watching on YouTube on demand.
Okay, guys and girls, if you like what you see, give us a like, press the bell, and subscribe. Thank you, sweetie pies.
Do as the lady says.
I love that. Yeah. Every time you subscribe, she gives a little dance. Hit the like button.
Exactly. I'll send you her phone number if you subscribe. But great job, Tooch. I love you, and
love you too.
We will see you next week, next Tuesday, right after Hard
go
Knocks. And I'll try to check you guys out. Weekend sports betting tips on Friday at 6 p.m. Central.
Yep.
All right, brother. Take care, and thank you, everyone in the chat room. We'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Good night.